This is a presentation of the Oklahoma Sports Network.
Any other use of this telecast or any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the Oklahoma Sports Network's consent is prohibited. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be used without express written consent.
Hello and welcome, everybody. It's that time again. High school football on the Oklahoma Sports Network. Newcastle Racers football on the Oklahoma Sports Network. It's the Newcastle Racers and the Woodward Boomers on a non-district 4A Friday night tilt at Boomer Stadium in Woodward, Oklahoma. Josh Calloway on hand, joined alongside my partner in crime, Billy Collier. Carson Wade on the production, making everything work. Uriah Martinez outside, braving the elements, the kind of rainy, borderline chilly elements in Woodward tonight for the last week of non-district play. Newcastle and Woodward right here live on the Oklahoma Sports Network. Billy, it kind of feels like really football season with the weather. It's a little cold. I mean, it's cold a little bit. Like we're in a booth tonight, but if we were outside, I'd probably be wearing a jacket.
Yeah,
it's chilly.
It's a little bit nippy tonight. It's a little bit on the cold, and yes, it does feel like football out here. Out here at Woodward, you can see the grass out there has that just high school football look, old field looking. It looks like a great night for football, and you're right. Outside it is a little brisk. We come in here, it's not brisk at all, just ready for a good game tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. It is an old school kind of stadium, you know, talking to Woodward this week, and the arrangements made for this game, and they said, it's been around a while. I want to say it was built in 1980, something like that. It is an actual natural grass field, which is becoming more and more rare in high school football. Obviously, we go all over the place for these Newcastle games, and how many times do we play on actual grass a year? It's like once or twice at most, which normally is kind of nice, but on a day and a week where it's been really rainy, it might create some obstacles tonight. There's some puddles kind of forming along the sidelines. In one end zone, there's some pretty healthy puddles. We might see some dirty uniforms tonight, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Newcastle's road whites are not going to stay real clean for long.
Oh, I hope so. I hope we see some dirt. And you're right. I watched them warming up, and the receivers, if they got overthrown, were having to jump and dodge the water puddle down there, too. I believe that's the south side end zone. But, yes, you're absolutely right. I'm looking forward to some slushing, little mud flying up here and there. I think tonight's going to be a big night with the running. And so this is going to be a lot of fun, just old-style football. If you like old-style football, when you watch the old videos of them just running in the grass and slipping and sliding, you're going to have fun watching this game.
Yeah. Now, this is an important game for Newcastle, obviously. It's the last week before district play starts next week. So this is kind of your last chance to fine-tune things before the games get really important when you get into district play, obviously, and that's where the postseason standings start to come into play and things like that. So this is one last chance to kind of button some things up and feel good about things going into, like I said, district action next week. These two teams did play last year. Woodward came to us at Racer Stadium. That was a 34-12 win for Newcastle back at home on Gene Reed Field. So we'll see if the Racers can follow that up again this year. It's been a rough start for Woodward, a couple of ugly losses to start the year for them. Newcastle, meanwhile, obviously that great week 0 game against Weatherford. And then last week against Plainview was an uneven game. If you weren't with us for that, obviously Newcastle up really big at halftime, let Plainview get back in the game, had a chance with the ball down 1 score in the fourth quarter last week. But Newcastle buckled down, got the job done, got the big win. And now, obviously, back here, their first road test. Billy, talk about that a little bit. Just, first time getting away from Racer Stadium, getting out on the road, having to leave early, and obviously I imagine there's a lot of Racer contingent tuned in tonight, maybe more than normal, because Woodward ain't close. If you're not familiar with Oklahoma geography, you just found this game, or you live in another state. This is about, what was it for you from Newcastle? About 3 hours?
Yeah, about 2.5.
It's a ways out there.
Yeah.
So this is probably as little, fan contingent as you're going to get for Newcastle all season. I got to imagine there's not a ton of students who made the trip out here. I'm sure parents, families, stuff like that, but the average student probably didn't make this jaunt. So this is going to be a pretty true home field advantage for Woodward tonight.
Oh, big-time home field advantage. Now, whether that will make the difference, I'm not sure, but it will make a difference. In the first game against Weatherford, it was almost a very polished game. Last week, like you said, very uneven. I think that's a good word for it. They kind of played well, didn't play well, played well, and finished it out good. This is going to be the first time they're going to have to play in unfamiliar area. Mm-hmm. And when I say unfamiliar, I bet not even half the players have been to Woodward and played here at Woodward, know a lot about their team. Be honest with you, I don't even know a whole lot about the team.
I don't think I've been out here before.
No, I haven't. I grew up in this state. And so I think they're going to have to fill everything out. You'll probably see in the first quarter a lot more of a chess game. Yeah. Both teams kind of filling each other out, seeing what they're going to do. You're going to see Newcastle. They're going to be looking a little different tonight. You're going to see some different numbers tonight because this is, as you said, the last non-district game to clean things up, see what's going on. They pride themselves on depth, and they pride themselves on conditioning. And tonight's going to take all of that on this soggy grass. Now, I love it. I was just thinking, man, Aaron Rodgers would love this field. And
but turf.
That's right. That's right. But it's going to be, like I said, it's going to be a fun old-style football game, I think.
Yeah.
But I think that Newcastle is going to be able to pull it out. I think they've got the horses to do that, the depth and the conditioning. However, they are going to hit, especially I would say in the first quarter and third quarter, they're going to hit a little unfamiliar territory and not really knowing what Woodward can do or will do.
Yeah, no, good point. And, you want to work in a lot of that depth, like you said, but then also at a necessity. And Newcastle battling a lot of injuries.
Right.
And we'll talk about that a little more as we go on here in this pregame show. But, it's an interesting game for a lot of reasons for Newcastle. This is a game that this is an opportunity to work out some things, find out what you do and don't have with certain guys. There's a lot of kind of moving parts with this one. Obviously, you want to win the ball game, too, and try to take that undefeated record in district play next week. So we're going to continue to preview this ball game. This is the countdown to kickoff presented by Focus Federal Credit Union. For more than 65 years, Focus Federal Credit Union has continued to deliver innovative products and services to our members about all things financial by anticipating needs and delivering exceptional member service. Stop by and experience the difference with our Tri-City branch at 1097 Northwest 32nd Street in Newcastle, member NCUA. We'll take a time out. When we come back, we'll talk about what Woodward brings to the table a little bit, and Billy and I will dive into this ball game some more. The Racers and the Boomers, Friday Night Football on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
So that's Will, and that's Tim. And the farm has been in the family now how long, Tim?
100 years or so.
You stopped counting.
Yes.
The idea that 1.5% of this country is feeding 330 million people 3 times a day.
You shut down a lot of oil and gas, you shut down a lot of U.S. ag. All of a sudden, we start paying a lot more for food, and there's a lot more hungry people all over the world.
All right, back at Boomer Stadium in Woodward, Oklahoma, getting ready for this 4A non-district matchup between the Newcastle Racers and the Woodward Boomers. Like we said, these two teams did play last year at the Castle, I guess I should say. 34-12, Newcastle won that game a year ago, so we'll see if the Boomers can make it a little closer this time, maybe even get revenge on Newcastle. The Boomers enter play tonight 0-2 on the season, like I mentioned, coached by Ken Gordon, who is in his first year here at Woodward. He's a brand new head coach. This is his first year, trying to kind of rebuild this team a little bit. Obviously, it's been rough times building for Woodward. Just one win a year ago, 1-9 record. And Ken Gordon comes in, first year. It's been a bit of a slow start, but they fought a little bit last week. Their opener against Guthrie, 69-0. They fell to the Blue Jays, so a huge loss there. But last week against a good Bethany team on the road, we're in it for a while, ended up losing 40-14, but played Bethany a little, reasonably tough for a while in that game. So we'll see what they can't do here tonight. You got to imagine first-year coach, probably a lot of new faces after a year where you only win one game. They're going to get better as they go, Woodward, each and every week. So what are some things you're watching for, looking into the Boomers here this week, and what should fans be on the lookout for here tonight with Woodward out on the field there?
Well, I like what you said about their first-year coach, Ken Gordon. He's wanting to change the mindset, and you're starting to see that, I think, especially last week. You're seeing some of the players, their mindsets changing. Now, before the season, there was a lot of talk about their sophomore running back, Ace Long. I look forward to seeing what he can do. He's had a couple of pretty good weeks. I think they're going to look real well. He's going to look good, probably carry quite a bit, especially on a wet turf. I'm also looking forward to seeing how Ryan Douglas Fisher, the quarterback, does. I saw him in a few videos, and he really has some pinpoint passing. He's able to throw it into the basket. He's able to throw those darts. He really looked good, especially he's a junior. Ace Long is a sophomore. And so you can see already right there that
building blocks.
Coach Gordon is trying to build those building blocks and get his team set up and going. That's not to disrespect any of the other guys. But those are the two that I really see that are probably going to have a big night. He's got a slew of receivers that he can throw it to, Mason Boring, tight end L.J. Mason, some guys like that. I think that's going to be good. Also, they talked about today a backup quarterback, be number 7, Cash Carter. They're talking pretty big about him and talking about how he is a really good guy. We'll see how he comes across as well. Again, I didn't see a whole lot about them except that, like you said, last week against Bethany, they hung in there, played tough for as long as they could. You can just see there's a little bit of pride starting to build in the team, and there's nothing to me scarier than a team that's starting to build pride.
Yeah, no, 100%. I'm interested to see that quarterback dynamic. Like you said, Ryan Douglas Fisher, the QB out here, seemingly has done some nice things, but the way it was kind of described to me was that, if Coach Gordon feels like he wants to switch it up or make a move, he's not going to really hesitate to do it.
Right.
And bring in Cash Carter, number 7, like you said. So very, I would say decent to good chance we see both quarterbacks in this game tonight. So something, just a little extra thing that Coach Brickman and this Racer coaching staff had to get ready for and prepare for. And then those guys you mentioned, Ace Long and Mason Boring, both those guys, as we say a lot at the 4A level of football, play both ways, and are both two of their better defensive players as well. So excited to see what both those guys look like. Long, a linebacker, and Boring, a defensive back. Denzel Emer, another defensive back. So this secondary for Woodward, probably maybe the strength of their defense. So we'll see how that looks against Jackson Burt and this Racer offense, which, Billy is going to be maybe missing some guys. We talked about that at the tail end of last week. And I teased it just a moment ago there, but obviously last week, if you were with us in the Plainview game, injury bug caught a hold of Newcastle bad. It was just, and obviously, again, I feel you always have to say it, not that you would prefer other kids to get injured over other ones, but these are important impact guys went down last week. You're talking about TJ Bradford went down, Carson Bolster went down, Jordan Lane went down. A lot of guys banged up. It's not totally clear who we're going to see tonight and who we're not. We saw Jordan Lane warming up, which is a good sign. Didn't see Bradford or Bolster. Again, you never know. We'll see what happens when they actually kick the ball off. But what are you expecting from Newcastle tonight in terms of just trying to overcome the guys you're missing? That's going to be tough. Because like I said, it's not just anybody that they're missing, but key pieces of this team are going to be out maybe for a while.
Well, and they won last week, but it was a very costly win for them.
Yeah, it was.
They lost another one's Brady Rice, who is kind of their captain on the defense. They're at linebacker. I think tonight you're going to see how much hunger, how much foaming at the mouth. You're going to see some of these younger players. They have prided themselves on next man up. And I think last week a lot of those guys got hurt, and then going into the fourth quarter when Newcastle kind of separated itself were after those guys had been hurt. T.J. Bradford did finish the game, but then had some difficulty right after the game. Carson Bolster went down in the third quarter. Brady Rice went down in the first quarter. Jordan also in the third quarter. So you saw a fourth quarter when Newcastle started pulling away with some of the players you're probably going to see tonight. And so I'm looking forward to seeing some of these sophomores, some of these freshmen, if you throw in a few of these juniors, if they've got that hunger that they're ready to stop watching from the sideline and get in there and play. And I think this is the time that they're going to see that.
100%. So we are in Woodward tonight, our last road game, or our first road game, I should say, our last non-district game is what I was trying to say, as we take a look at the Buffalo Wild Wings schedule ahead for Newcastle this year. You see 2 games in the books with Weatherford and Plainview. Woodward here tonight, and then we start district play next week. Tecumseh comes to Racer Stadium. The great Gene Reed going to be on the call for that one with you, Billy. I'm going to have to miss that one. Going to be out of town for other work, but I'll be back with you in a couple weeks for that big Blanchard game on the horizon. Very excited about that one. So we're at Racer Stadium the next 2 weeks, Tecumseh and Blanchard. And obviously, like we said at the kind of beginning of the year, getting a lot of home games in early before hitting the road a lot more in the back half of the season. So Tecumseh next week, and then Blanchard the 2 weeks from tonight. Both of those games will be at home. That's our schedule look ahead presented by Buffalo Wild Wings. Wing Tuesdays, boneless Thursdays. Why not any day of the week? Make it Buffalo Wild Wings. 9600 Service I-44, just minutes away from Newcastle. Wings, tenders, burgers, and so much more. All right, we're going to take another time out here. We come back. We'll continue to look ahead to this game, which we're getting ever so much closer to, about 13-ish minutes away from kicking it off. We'll also look at some of the other games in 4A2 tonight, as well as some of the other games you can watch on the network on the Oklahoma Sports Network. Stick with us. This is the Countdown to Kickoff presented by Focus Federal Credit Union on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
College is more than just going to class. College is a journey. It's meeting new people and making new friendships that will last a lifetime. It's learning from professors who care about you and your success. And finding out it can be really fun and rewarding. It's discovering that thing you want to do for the rest of your life. Cameron University is all about helping you grow and succeed. Because your success is our success.
When it comes to your home, you need someone that you can trust to keep it safe and protected for you and your family.
Vesta Foundation Solutions is your local, family-owned company that has helped many homeowners fix and protect their homes.
Our engineered solutions can take care of all of your foundation repair, basement waterproofing, concrete leveling, and dirt crawl space repair needs.
We take pride in getting the job done right, and you'll always be protected with up to a 75-year warranty.
Contact us today for a free estimate.
At CFD, our mission is to deliver quality dentistry by providing big practice benefits with a little practice feel. Since 2008, we've updated our look, technology, and have added new smiles to our tenured staff to better care for you right here at home. Convenience for you is one of our biggest goals, and we often provide same-day treatment to minimize your time off work. We are open Monday through Friday to serve you. Visit cfdok.com for details. We look forward to seeing you at our big little practice.
So that's Will, and that's Tim. And the farm has been in the family now how long, Tim?
100 years or so.
You stopped counting.
Yes.
The idea that 1.5% of this country is feeding 330 million people 3 times a day.
You shut down a lot of oil and gas, you shut down a lot of U.S. ag. All of a sudden, we start paying a lot more for food, and there's a lot more hungry people all over the world.
Back at Boomer Stadium in Woodward, Oklahoma. Josh Calloway, Billy Collier on OSN, getting ready for this one. Newcastle and Woodward getting ever so closer. Woodward band just performed the national anthem here, turning into actually a decent night. The sun's out now. It looks, if you didn't know any better, you think it was some nice summer night. It's actually been raining. Obviously, if you're in the state, you know that. It's been raining all week, and it rained on us on the drive up here. But clearing out now, looking like a nice night for football. Like I said, it's going to get sloppy. Might be some fumbles tonight, maybe. Some wet jerseys, some muddy jerseys. But should be a fun night for football. Woodward crowd filling in pretty nicely, actually. This is an old-school stadium, Boomer Stadium. A pretty big – I wonder what the capacity is here. It's going to be pretty good size. There's a lot of seats.
Yeah, there's a ton of seats.
And they're filling in pretty good, actually, down here below us. So should be a fun night for football on the Oklahoma Sports Network. Other games in 4A2 we're going to keep an eye on tonight, Billy, and you can chime in however you see fit in terms of one that sticks out. There's a couple of these that are real good. Other 4A2 games, Class and SAS has got Northwest Class tonight, so a little cross-city action there. Tuttle's in Guthrie. That's a really fun one.
Yeah,
Blanchard and Shawnee are playing tonight. Bridge Creek has got Western Heights. Tecumseh, who we'll see next week, they're in McLeod tonight, and Hera is hosting Seminole. We'll see Hera later this week. The headliner there's got to be Tuttle Guthrie, right?
Yes,
That's going to be a fun one to keep an eye on tonight. Guthrie, obviously, a really solid 5A program. And I think everybody's kind of trying to figure out just how good Tuttle is. So that's going to be a fun one to keep an eye on tonight.
Yeah, those are two teams that I think can go toe-to-toe, can stand to each other. Tuttle's not worried about Guthrie. Guthrie's not worried about Tuttle. They're going to stand in there and just deliver blows. I think that'll be an exciting game. I also think it'll be a good game letting us see what is coming. If you don't know this, in the Tri-City area, every year, Tuttle's in a rebuild. Every year they say that.
And
Tuttle's
they're
in a
still
rebuild.
in the mix. They win 9 games, and they're in the
right. So I don't know what they rebuild them out of, but that's what they say. Another one I'm looking forward to is Blanchard versus Shawnee. I can't say it's going to be just the epic game like Tuttle Guthrie, but I think it'd be good to see how Blanchard does coming off that loss last week to a really good team. And then how they're going to look here in 2 weeks when we face them and kind of getting ready for them. So that's another one that I kind of have circled there. Happy for Bridge Creek. They're starting to get some success and wins. They're in the Tri-City area. Looking to them to win decently tonight in their homecoming as well. So those are the teams that I'm kind of looking at there.
Yeah, good slate in 4A2 tonight. Generally speaking, across the state, it's a little thinner in terms of total matchups. A lot of teams play week 0 now, then take week 3 off. So there's less games just kind of in general in the state of Oklahoma tonight. Still a lot, though. And on the Oklahoma Sports Network, we have 6 games for you this evening, including our own between Newcastle and Woodward. If you want to get a second stream, we have a couple of really good ones on OSN tonight. Carl Albert is taking on Elk City out there at Elk City. That's a fun little kind of just a kind of an almost, I don't want to say a weird in a bad way, but a weird just kind of, those are 2 schools that you just don't see play very often.
No,
Carl Albert and Elk City. So they're playing tonight. Midwest City's got PC North. That should be a fun one. Lawton High and Eisenhower playing. Always fun when the Lawton schools get together. Elgin and Weatherford. Fascinating game. Elgin obviously has turned themselves into a legit 5A perennial, I mean, if you can call it that, after 1 year and change, playoff team. That's going to be a fun game to see kind of where both those teams stand. And then Walters has got Cashion tonight in a fun small school matchup. So we got some good games on OSN tonight. So as I say almost every week, get out a second screen, get the OK Sportsnet app, or go on your computer, go to the YouTube channel or the website, oksportsnet.com, whatever it may be, and get a second screen going, get a second game going. There's a couple of good ones there, especially that Elgin Weatherford one. That one's really going to have my eye tonight. I'm going to keep a close eye on that one.
Well, what I'm looking forward to seeing is that Carl Albert Elk City, because almost after seeing both of them and their styles, those are 2 completely different styles of football.
Yeah.
You've got Carl Albert that plays one style, and then you've got Elk City playing a completely different. I'd say, and tell me if I'm way out there, Carl Albert plays kind of that polished, they play with finesse. They got everything going. Of course, they can afford to do that after winning state champions. So you have that. And then you have Elk City, who's kind of those rather just play dirty and not play dirty, but play and get dirty.
Yeah.
Better rephrase that. But they would rather just play and hit.
So we're getting close to getting this thing started. The coin toss just happened. Woodward won the toss and deferred to the second half. So the Racers will start with the football. A disclaimer as well, it could be a little rocky for Billy and I on the numbers tonight, as you've seen before if you've watched us in the past or just a fan of high school football. It's Military Appreciation Night here at Boomer Stadium, so Woodward's going to wear the alternate camouflage jerseys, which A, are hard to see sometimes, and B, it causes a lot of guys to have their numbers changed. And so we have the roster, and we have an updated roster as well that we're going to try and reference as best we can, but there may be a couple of we say a name, then we hear that it's actually this guy over the PA or whatever. It may be some growing pains, I guess, as we go along here with that. So that's a small disclaimer for us as well before we get started. So we're just moments away from getting this going. The Racers are about ready to take the field. Woodward about to do the same on the near side here from the big inflatable Woodward helmet. And we'll be ready to get this game started. This is going to be an interesting one tonight, like we said, Billy, for a medley of reasons. So we're going to take one last time out here. This has been the Focus Federal Credit Union countdown to kickoff. When we get back, we'll have just that, the kickoff. Newcastle, Woodward on the other side on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
College is more than just going to class. College is a journey. It's meeting new people and making new friendships that will last a lifetime. It's learning from professors who care about you and your success. And finding out it can be really fun and rewarding. It's discovering that thing you want to do for the rest of your life. Cameron University is all about helping you grow and succeed. Because your success is our success.
When it comes to your home, you need someone that you can trust to keep it safe and protected for you and your family.
Vesta Foundation Solutions is your local, family-owned company that has helped many homeowners fix and protect their homes.
Our engineered solutions can take care of all of your foundation repair, basement waterproofing, concrete leveling, and dirt crawl space repair needs.
We take pride in getting the job done right, and you'll always be protected with up to a 75-year warranty.
Contact us today for a free estimate.
At CFD, our mission is to deliver quality dentistry by providing big practice benefits with a little practice feel. Since 2008, we've updated our look, technology, and have added new smiles to our tenured staff to better care for you right here at home. Convenience for you is one of our biggest goals, and we often provide same-day treatment to minimize your time off work. We are open Monday through Friday to serve you. Visit cfdok.com for details. We look forward to seeing you at our big little practice.
All right, back at Boomer Stadium, Josh Calloway, Billy Carr. We are getting very close to starting this one between the Racers and the Boomers. Can't confirm, no Carson Bolzer tonight, as expected. No TJ Bradford as well. Both guys in street clothes as we get ready to start this game. Also Brady Rice in street clothes as well. So like we said, Newcastle's going to have to operate with some different guys than what they're used to, but Jordan Lane is out there for kickoff returns. That's huge because obviously, if you've been with us the first two games, the Lane brothers, Jordan and Jalen, have been phenomenal. Have been so much fun to watch. So excited to see them back out there as well. Billy, as we just get ready here, as the teams are out there ready for the kickoff, final key for you for Newcastle tonight.
I think it's going to be getting used to new numbers, new people. I think there's going to be a lot of that. That's why I think it may be a little sloppy, a little at the first, won't be quite as polished as we've seen. But I think that will be key, just Jackson Burt taking control out there on the field. Another one, and you hear me say this every week, I'm sorry if you get tired of it. However, in this muddy field, how the offensive line and defensive line can hold, we've seen great job by the line last 2 weeks. Tonight there's going to be a fight down there in the trenches.
So just getting ready. Newcastle's out there to return in their road whites with the gray pants, blue helmets. And Woodward, like we said, wearing the military alternate, so the camo with the black pants and then their gold helmets with the black W on the helmet. Go ahead and thank our kickoff sponsors as we get ready to get going. Auto Accessories Unlimited, specializing in custom paint and body for cars, trucks, boats, RVs, you name it. Paint and body collision repair and modifications. 5600 Huetner Drive in Norman. Phone them at 405-360-8855. Auto Accessories Unlimited. Shout out to them, our kickoff sponsor here on the Oklahoma Sports Network. So we're just about ready to get this thing going. Final non-district game of the year. The season always scoots along. We're almost into district play already next week. Excited for this one. So Ace Long, who we talked about, running back, linebacker, kind of their guy out here, is going to do the honors with the kickoff. Back to return are the lanes. 14 is Jalen, 23 Jordan. And you got to imagine those two guys have been a big part of this team already, but especially with some of these injuries, maybe lean on them even more moving forward. This freshman duo, which has been so fun to watch so far this season. So here we go. Kickoff is away, and we have football on the Oklahoma Sports Network. This is Jordan Lane fielding it inside the 5. He'll take it all the way across to the far side, gets around that corner, does a stiff arm, spin move past the 20. That's going to be tackled just shy of the 20. And that's where Newcastle will set up shop for the first drive, led by quarterback Jackson Burt. His third year as a starting man. He's looked like a different guy, Billy. Not that he hasn't been fun to watch and good the last 2 years, but so far he's looked extra sharp in these first 2 games.
He has. He looks like he knows the offense. He looks like he knows the players. He can see things a lot faster. The game appears to have slowed down to him. So that's been exciting to watch.
Apologies for no clock, by the way, tonight. We had some technical difficulties. We're not going to be able to give you the clock, so I'm going to be doing it the old-fashioned way, kind of radio style, chiming in with the clock as we go on. We apologize for that. We'll have that fixed for you before we come back home next week. First play, Burt fakes the handoff, pass out. This is Jalen Lane making a man miss. Another cut back across the 25, falling forward to the 28. About an 8-yard pickup. What do you think of the footing first couple plays here? It looks like maybe the guys are a little tentative.
They do seem to be. You don't see too big of a stride out there, and thanks for making me a liar. I thought they'd go run a lot in the mud. They start with the pass.
A little bubble screens, kind of the extension of the run game kind of a thing. It is Burchett, by the way, the starting running back. We kind of speculated about that earlier. And he gets the first carry. He goes right up the middle and picks up a first down, getting that white jersey dirty up to the 34-yard line. Want to take a quick, while we have a moment here in between plays, thank our first quarter sponsor, which is Chris Dumm, Allstate agent. Chris knows what life is like here in Newcastle, that you choose your car and your home to fit your lifestyle and your budget. He also knows how important it is to do the same when it comes to insurance. He looks forward to getting to know you and helping you find the solutions that meet your needs. Call him today at 405-392-2390. Second carry for Burchett, bounce outside. Nice stiff arm again. And he's tackled after about an 8-yard pickup. That was another nice run from Burchett there.
Yeah, he's done very good. There's a huge hole opened up over there on the right side. He is, I haven't really seen him run a whole lot, which is on me. But he's doing a good job. Saw that hole, got through it real fast, almost stiffed arm out of the tackle.
Just getting going here if you're just tuning in on the Oklahoma Sports Network. 10:35 and counting to play in the first quarter. Racers' first possession of the game. Handoff up the middle. Burchett again. Tripped up. Ball came out. Are they saying that was out? I couldn't really tell. It happened so quickly. And there the officials are going to talk about it. It kind of squirted free. I didn't really see when it came out. Woodward is saying it's their ball, as you would expect them to.
Yeah. They're cheering yet staying on the field.
I'm still waiting for any kind of official word. And they're going to give it to Woodward. Right. So we talked about that in pregame. Obviously, it's wet out there. It's not currently raining. It's actually sunny right now, but the field is soggy. I'm sure the ball is getting wet. And we have a fumble right out of the gate. So Burchett loses it, and a quick turnover, and the Boomers are going to have good field position here set up on the 44.
Well, and as fast as they're going, and that was Burchett's third run in a row, you know he's not really having, maybe not having a lot of time to get those hands dried off or the football dried off because they're hurrying up. So that could have cost some of it as well.
So here comes the Woodward offense, quarterbacked by Ryan Douglas Fisher, who we talked about in pregame, junior signal caller. And that's going to be a false start out of the gates here for Woodward offensively, back him up 5 yards.
Yeah,
if you missed it in pregame, we talked about that Douglas Fisher is their guy, but they also have Cash Carter, the younger man. He's just a freshman, correct?
Yeah, sophomore.
Yeah.
Or is he a freshman? Thought I saw he was a sophomore. Cash Carter.
He's a freshman on the one that I'm looking at here, this roster. Either way, younger guy.
Yeah.
We may see him tonight as well. We got a break in action here. Coach Brickman all the way out on the hashes here to talk to the official. Looks like Newcastle took a timeout. So first charge timeout to the Racers, using one early. Well, that could be, Billy, kind of a weird spot after a false start. And Coach Brickman, it doesn't look like it's a timeout to talk to his team as much as he wants to go over something with the officials here. I'm not sure what
Well,
he
definitely is a tactic type guy. So he saw something that he didn't think was right and wants to discuss why. And so he may be getting a full timeout's worth at the ear of the official.
Coach Brickman also, as he's proven this year, especially not shy about using his timeouts.
No.
He'll, if he wants to talk to the officials about something, he's not going to hesitate to burn in one to get his word in. He's still talking. The teams are out there ready to go, but Brickman's still talking to the officials. Kind of funny looking.
Yeah, you see,
almost like a scrimmage or something.
I
like
know.
The coach is out there.
It was almost like backyard football there for a second. Just the players ready to go, and they're all standing around and pointing and talking, and you still got the officials all over there having an audience with Coach Brickman.
So Brickman heads to the sidelines. It's turned into a pretty nice crowd here at Woodward. Lots of Boomer faithful has made their way out here. Some Newcastle contingent made the trip, obviously a long way from home, about as far as you can get. I mean, we talked about it. We went to Plainview last year. We also went to Cleveland. Was that last year, the year before? Obviously is a way out there as well, but this trip tops both of those.
Yes.
By about, at least for me, about 45 minutes to an hour.
I just had to keep telling myself, after this, the farthest one is Hera.
Yeah, the rest of the season is right in the pretty much the metro, pretty much for the most part. Outside of, like you said, Hera's a little bit out there, but not too bad.
I'm still trying to figure out what they were talking about.
Yeah, I'm not sure. There's still some discussions happening. They got Coach Brickman to head to the sideline, but he's still talking to the officials. It looks like maybe we're going to get back to it. I'm not sure totally what the pause in the action here is. Now head officials kind of heading over toward the Woodward sideline. It looks like maybe we are going to finally get back to it. You might have to ask Coach Brickman on the Coaches Show on Tuesday. What happened in the first quarter on Friday?
That's crazy.
All right, so now we're getting back to it. After the false start, it's 1st and 15 for the Boomers. Pass out here in the flat. This is Douglas Fisher catching the pass. The snap went to long, and that didn't work at all. That lost a couple of yards. The direct snap went to the running back long. He then threw it to the quarterback, Douglas Fisher, but Newcastle was all over that. He lost a couple.
Well, and you saw that speed right there. That was Ian Barker for Newcastle. He got over there and closed that distance fast. They had 5 receivers down here. You have a pretty good idea that at least 3 of them or 4 of them will be blockers only.
Call it 2nd and 18. Handoff is going to go to Long around the right side. Heskew slowed him down, and then coming to clean up was Burchett. So about a no gain there. Sets up a 3rd and a lot for the Boomers here. Newcastle defensively has been really good so far this year. Obviously had that kind of little stretch in the second half last week where Plainview found some momentum, but for the most part, Racers' defense has been quite solid to start this season.
They're really trying to spread them out there. There's 5 receivers to the other side now.
Yeah, nobody on the near side. All 5. You don't see that very often. All 5 on that far side. Douglas Fisher back to pass. So the middle is picked off. Racers have an interception. They're racing back the other way. Down the left sideline, this is 21 Shane Lovejoy down at the 30. Late flag coming in. This shouldn't affect the play. I think it's going to be after the play was over. So Shane Lovejoy, the interception. You get a look at that on the Eric Ledoux State Farm instant replay. Eric Ledoux, your State Farm agent in the Tri-City. Call him with any insurance questions or needs you may have at 405-392-3992. And remember, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Gave you a second look at that one, Billy, as Shane Lovejoy would just jumped right in the lane. Douglas Fisher just never saw him. Yeah,
that was just unfortunate for Fisher there. He didn't even see Lovejoy there, and Lovejoy didn't even have to step left or right. It went right to the numbers, and he took off running. So
Now we'll see what this. We have another conference going on here. As 2 flags flew out right at the end of the play. I think it was for maybe like a late block or something. I didn't really see it. Actually, going to go against Woodward. So the penalty's on the Boomers. And again, I think it's after the play, so this should get marked off.
Well, and I saw after the play, you saw Barry getting up, number 33, getting up, and the 2 flags had already come in. 2 Woodward players were getting off the ground, and Barry pointed towards their side. So I don't know if the 2 of them just kind of took him out and had that opportunity and did that. So
they are marking the yards off. So it's a personal foul after the play. So that's going to take it from the 30 all the way to the 15. First trip inside the Trinity Restoration red zone. Top quality roof repair and restoration. Call Trinity Restoration at 405-695-7040. And the Racers knocking on the door here. Burt, handoff to Burchett. Bobbing and weaving inside. And he gets inside the 10-yard line down about the 9.
That was an excellent run. It looked like somebody had grabbed the face mask there for a second, but no call, and he just kept pushing forward, kept going through it. So he's a good runner. I'm impressed what I've seen with him so far, minus the fumble.
Yeah, obviously had the fumble, but yards per carry is in good shape. That's for sure. So inside the 10 now, Racers knocking on the door of the first points of the night. Burt handed to Burchett, and he was swallowed up all over him there for the Boomers. Number 69, which is Caden Clark. Senior defensive lineman on this Boomers team. Blew that play up.
Yeah, somebody on the offensive line missed their block. He was back there ready to go. Loss of about 4, it looks like.
Yeah, call it 3rd and 8 at the 13. Got to get to the 5. 4 receivers set for Burt. Burchett, the running back next to him, as he has been on every snap so far. Burt's going to throw. Clean pocket, step over the middle. Pass is caught by Heskew, diving forward. Waiting for a call. Touchdown, Newcastle. Heskew caught the high ball and dove across the line. And the Racers on the board first. That was a BB from Jackson Burt.
That was a great throw. Heskew is just impressing me this year with his intelligence of the game. They all kind of went back into a zone. They're playing the 4-2-5, much like Newcastle does. They went back into that, and you saw Heskew run in there. He saw kind of an open spot, stopped there, and as soon as Burt saw him, threw in the ball, like you said, just on a line, and that fell in for the touchdown.
Nice play there by the Racers offense on the 3rd and long. Batchelor boots the extra point through. And Newcastle's on the board first. 7-0 Racers. 8:31 to play in the first quarter. Woodward offense back on the field after this break on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
At CFD, our mission is to deliver quality dentistry by providing big practice benefits with a little practice feel. Since 2008, we've updated our look, technology, and have added new smiles to our tenured staff to better care for you right here at home. Convenience for you is one of our biggest goals, and we often provide same-day treatment to minimize your time off work. We are open Monday through Friday to serve you. Visit cfdok.com for details. We look forward to seeing you at our big little practice.
Back at Boomer Stadium, Josh Calloway, Billy Collier, Uriah Martinez outside working the camera for us. Carson Wade on the production, making everything work. Racers on the board first. A 13-yard touchdown toss from Jackson Burt to Rex Heskew. Puts the Racers up 7-0 early after the interception by Shane Lovejoy. So the Newcastle, obviously that early turnover, but they get it right back and then punch it home. So a good start for Newcastle. Batchelder will boot it away. Kickoff's going to land at about just inside the 15. Boomers will give it a return. Ooh, almost lost the ball. And getting popped and tackled just shy of the 30 is number 10, Denzel Wickware, a senior wide receiver defensive back for the Boomers. So Woodward offense back out there, and we talked about it a couple times in pregame, Billy, that we may see both quarterbacks if Douglas Fisher, especially if he struggled, already a tough turnover. He is back out there for now, but we'll keep an eye on that as we go along.
And if I remember right, they had almost 3 times or close to 4 times more passing yards and rushing yards last week against Bethany.
Ace Long, obviously a big part of that. 2 running backs. Handoff here, goes across, and a nice big hit and tackle. Absolutely all over that was Hunter Berry, who we've been saying his name a lot in the early part of this season. The carry for the Boomers coming from number 13, Carson Medina, another senior.
I tell you what, really impressed with the 2 defensive ends. You got Berry there, you got Elcision on the other side. Like I've said before, most time at this level you see them overrun the play. They both stay home.
1 yard gain makes a 2nd down and 9. Long steps up next to his man. Long at the carry, and he's got nowhere to go. Bottled up all over him.
Heavy J.
A couple of guys with, you said it, Heavy J in the mix. Made the first contact. Also in there, like I see, is that 88. Antonio Brown was among the in the mix.
You can't miss them. If they're standing on the sideline, they stand out. There's some pretty big fellas.
We're only in the early stages of Game 3, but Heavy J, I feel like he has a vice grip on Play of the Year. It's going to be hard to top that. So 3rd and long, and they're going to have to pass. Douglas Fisher pressure. Berry's on him. He's going to roll out. He'll tuck it, go up the sideline. Heavy J wraps him up, tosses him to the ground. It's going to depend on the spot. I think he's short, and he is by a couple of yards. So this is going to be a 4th down and short. We'll see what the Boomers elect to do.
Well, that's a good job. Defensive line got in there. It was good watching Jaron Webb. We call him Heavy J, but Jaron Webb, he's one of the ones he stayed home. He didn't get in there, get stuck in a pocket. He kind of got out there and forced the quarterback out of bounds.
So Woodward's going to go ahead and punt this away. I think this is probably the right move for Coach Gordon. I mean, Woodward's defense been okay so far. I mean, he gave up the touchdown, but it came on a short field. And like you kind of mentioned in the break, defensive line done some nice things so far for the Boomers. So Rex Heskew will return this one. Fields it just in front of the 20. Oh, nice move to get around the first man. Trying to get that corner and a good open field tackle. Swarmed for there by the Boomers, number 44, I think that is.
Kason Boren, yeah.
Kason Boren, okay.
Yeah, linebacker there came in there. Excellent speed, caught up with him. I thought there may be a chance if he could get around him, you'd get on the Woodward side of the field, but that was excellent staying with him and getting a good tackle there.
So with 6:39 to play in the first, Newcastle takes back over on offense on their own 33-yard line, leading 7-0 early. Good start once again for this Racers defense, which continues to just be really, really solid and fundamentally sound. 1st and 10. Burt fakes the handoff. He'll throw out in the flat to Lane, but we have whistles and flags. It's going to kill this play. I think it's a false start, I presume.
I believe it was.
And it was. So back Newcastle up 5 yards, be 1st and 15.
Yeah, somebody leaned right before they hiked the ball. Somebody kind of leaned up, anticipating it.
So back the Racers up to the 28-yard line, sets up 1st and 15. Burchett, the running back, in the backfield with Burt. 2 receivers at the bottom, 1 at the top. Burt faked the handoff. He'll throw out a little bubble screen here to Lane. Lane runs through an arm tackle, and he'll get up close to the original line of scrimmage. Looks like it's going to be just that, so 2nd down and 10.
That was a good tackle by them, good team tackle, but it was good seeing Jordan get out there. A lot of times, especially at his young age, you get hit hard in a game. You're kind of scared, a little leery to get out there. And so it was good watching him get out there, take a hit, knowing he's going to be okay.
So nearing the midway point of the first quarter, Newcastle in front 7-0. 2nd down and 10. Burt takes the shotgun snap. Pressure coming on that blind side. He'll get out in the flat to Burchett, who catches it. And he's spun down as he gets across the 35 for a short gain. That was a good job by Burt kind of sensing that pressure because Woodward defender came loose off that edge. I think that was Cooper Beaner, number 8. He came flying in ready to, with bad intentions, but Burt got rid of it.
That was good. And a good catch. That pass was there before Burchett turned around and saw it.
So it's a 3rd down and 8 for Newcastle. This is the same mark they had when they got the touchdown. Burt back to pass. Pressure in his face, and he's hit from behind, and down he goes. That's a sack, and the same man who made that nice tackle on the punt gets a sack there. Kason Boren came free, and it's hard to get Jackson Burt down in one hit. He's a big fellow, but he stuck right with him and slung him to the ground. So it's a stop, and Woodward will get the ball back.
Well, that was a good coverage. They'd call that a coverage sack. He couldn't get rid of it. Held on to it a little bit too long. I know third down was really weighing on him.
Well, like we said, Woodward defensive line especially is doing a nice job so far. High snap to Batchelder. He'll get rid of it. And, boy, this is a heck of a punt from Toby Batchelder. And it'll be fielded inside the 35. That was a boot.
It was.
So Batchelder flips the field, and Woodward will set up shop on their own 33-yard line. So far, I mean, obviously, Newcastle has a touchdown on the board off that short field, but the defenses are kind of doing their thing right now.
They are. They're filling each other out, and you can kind of see looks like Woodward is kind of seeing some things they think they can take advantage of, and so I would definitely wait and look and see Brigman is going to counter that to see what he can do about that as well.
So the Boomers take over, have a 4-receiver set here on their first play. Got a really late sub running out there for Woodward. Douglas Fisher still in at quarterback. Low snap. He's able to field it, though, and rolls out. Got a man chasing him. He's going to just take off. He's got nowhere to go. And he'll go out of bounds, shoved out by Ian Barker, being chased by Aiden Elcision. And that's going to lose a lot. Again, that's about a 5 or 6 yard loss.
That's what it looks like, about a 6 yard loss. I tell you what, he was between a rock and a hard place there for a second, so I think he just looked for the sideline as fast as he could.
Tell you what, we talked about Woodward's defensive front having a nice start. Newcastle's defensive front is as well, as Douglas Fisher is kind of running for his life right now back there. They haven't really been able to run the ball much either. So far, Newcastle defensively blocking things down. So 2nd down and 16 after the big loss. This is a pass. This is behind the line, the long, and he's bottled up. Going backwards again. Boy, Newcastle defensively right now, Billy, is creating a lot of negative plays.
They are. That's Ian Barker again, right in there on it. Just a nose for the ball. Just in there, saw it, got around his blocker fast, and they closed in on that. I think Woodward's going to have to do some changes if they're going to try and do something with that. Newcastle's just way too fast.
So it's now 3rd and 20. No penalties aided either. Just 2 negative plays have backed them way up. And we'll see what the Boomers, if they play it conservatively here, if they're going to bomb it deep.
Oh, no.
Pressure in his face. He's got to get rid of it. That's got to be intentional grounding.
Got to be.
Got to be. Pressure right on him came from a likely source in Taj Smith. And I am floored that there's not intentional grounding on that. I mean, is that not the most textbook intentional grounding you've ever seen?
It is.
I mean, he went straight back and threw it to nobody. I don't think that even got to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, a cheerleader or flag girl was closer to the ball than a receiver.
I don't understand that one. So it's 4th and 20, but it should be 4th and even more than that. Nevertheless, 3 and out. Racers get the ball back. Long will boot it away. Racer defense so far really dominating. Heskew fields at the 35. He makes the first man miss again. He's loose. Heskew down the left side across the 50. Makes another man miss inside the 40. Big return for Rex Heskew.
Excellent return. Excellent. And look at that. You can barely see the 4 on him. You got to love that.
Yes.
The defender took him into the mud, and they slid about 4 feet. Good return.
You get another look at the return there on the Eric Ledoux State Farm instant replay. Rex Heskew, I'll point him out. You can see him right there on the 40. His jersey's not white. It's just brown now.
He's camouflaged too.
That's awesome. That's what we were talking about in pregame. That's what I envisioned. It looks like he just stole second. He is filthy. So Racers offense back out there. This is Jackson Shanuel. Fakes the handoff and takes off with it. Big run for Shanuel. All the way down to the 20-yard line. Another trip to the Trinity Restoration red zone as Newcastle knocking on the door.
Wow, that was a great run. That's a huge hole. I could have run through that. Not as far, but I could have run through that. That was a great run by him. Great read by the defensive guy. He was in the backfield.
So Shanuel, who obviously Coach Brickman and the Racers like to put in as a change of pace guy from time to time, faked the handoff to Lovejoy. Does it again here. Is again going to keep it running hard inside the 15. All 6'5" and 225 of Jackson Shanuel rumbling inside the 15.
Yeah, they're just kind of taking advantage of that. Just running, getting positive yards, kind of taking the Eagles mindset from last night. Just good running.
3:25 and counting to play in the first. Newcastle knocking on the door, sticking with Shanuel here on this drive. This time he's going to fake it again. to left side, inside the 10. Look at him just bobbing and weaving his way inside the 5, keeping the legs turning. And the Racers will have it first and goal.
He's a tough runner. You usually see him in the back. He usually plays that cover 1 position in the 4-2-5. And we have watched him on defense really put some good hits on some guys and really put them in the ground. Now you're seeing he's got the football in, and he's still hitting those guys and putting them in the ground.
Well, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. 3 straight
That's
QB
true.
runs for Shanuel has taken the Racers all the way down to the 4. Heavy J in the backfield next to Shanuel. And they're going to give it to Heavy
There
J,
it
and he's in. Jaron Webb, touchdown Newcastle.
Oh, great run. And he is of that height. He kind of gets lost behind the line. You don't see him, but I got to give it to the offensive line right there. They had a hole that was big enough for Jaron to get through there. He was not even touched as he passed the end zone.
I was thinking the same. Yeah, he ran. I mean, that was a chasm
Yes.
for Webb to run through. Had to respect Shanuel, too. I'm sure that kept the defense a little flat-footed. So Jaron Webb punches it in from 4 yards out. Batchelder boots through the extra point. And the Racers put together a nice drive led by Jackson Shanuel. And with 2:45 to play in the first quarter, it's the Racers 14, the Boomers 0. Woodward ball after this break on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
It's no secret that life is busy and you have a million things on your to-do list. Here at Community Bank of Oklahoma, we've made banking simple again. We can help you get to the important things in life, like the big game tonight.
We do all the heavy lifting so you don't have to.
Race towards us at Community Bank of Oklahoma because we wouldn't be a community without you.
All right, back to Boomer Stadium. Josh Calloway, Billy Collier on the Oklahoma Sports Network. A 4-yard touchdown run for Jaron Heavy J. Webb. Makes it 14-0 Racers. Good start for Newcastle, especially defensively. They have locked down on the Boomers so far. So a 2-score lead. Batchelder boots it away. And it'll be fielded just in front of the 5-yard line. This is, again, Wickware, and he's got a nice lane here. Breaking tackle, somersaults his way down to the 40. So a nice return by Denzel Wickware.
Yeah, you haven't heard that name at all. I haven't seen it anywhere, but he's really coming out tonight. He's playing real good. Looks like he has a little bit of a wobble in his step, but he has really shown himself tonight.
So a nice return there for sure. Gets all the way out to the 41-yard line. So Boomers needed a little something, a little spark of something to get it going, and maybe that provided it. So Woodward set up 1st and 10. And here we go. We talked about this possibility. We got the other quarterback in. This is Cash Carter, number 7, in at QB for the Boomers. So Douglas Fisher on the sideline for now. Carter fakes the handoff. He'll take off with it around the outside. Nothing there. As Burchett and Barry were both there to just plug up any kind of lane.
Yeah, again, I think Newcastle just has too much speed side to side for some of those end arounds. They're going to have to change it up, catch them in over pursuing if they're going to get some of that to work.
You know, the speed, and also it just feels like they're completely just ready for it as well. Like they're seeing the play very early. You know what I mean? Like I don't know if that's Woodward telegraphing a little too much or just good film study or what. Carter rolls out here. Blows is picked off. Trey Burchett jumped in front of it, down the sideline, and he picked 6. Wow. Trey Burchett jumped right in front of it.
That was
a 40-yard pick 6. He was, 5 yards away from the quarterback?
Yes.
The reaction to grab that thing, and he took it back.
I don't understand, to be honest with you. I mean, both the interceptions have been right in the numbers, and so I don't – I'm not going to pretend to understand that. To be honest with you, if I was in the same position and Nelcision is running at me, I probably would throw it to anybody who'd catch it too. But it's just really kind of surprising.
So Trey Burchett, 40-yard pick six. The extra point is good from Batchelder, and this game has gotten wide quick. With 2:28 to play in the first quarter, it's Newcastle 21, Woodward 0. We'll be back at Boomer Stadium on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
So that's Will, and that's Tim. And the farm has been in the family now how long, Tim?
100 years or so.
You stopped counting?
Yes.
The idea that 1.5% of this country is feeding 330 million people 3 times a day.
You shut down a lot of oil and gas, you shut down a lot of U.S. ag. All of a sudden, we start paying a lot more for food, and there's a lot more hungry people all over the world.
Back to Boomer Stadium. Josh Calloway, Billy Collier, all racers early. If you're just tuning in, you've missed a lot. Racers with 3 touchdowns. Jackson Burt, 13-yard toss to Rex Heskew. Jaron Webb, 4-yard touchdown run. And then Trey Burchett just now, a 40-yard pick six to put the Racers up 21-0 with 2:28 to play in the first quarter. Billy, this is the dream start on the road. I mean, they've done everything right.
Huge start on the road. I just want them to keep their foot on the gas, not let up thinking it's already won.
I think Burchett more than made up for that fumble earlier. This kickoff will go into the end zone. I think he can probably he can sleep better tonight after that early fumble. That was a heck of a play on that pick six.
Yeah, he definitely made up for that there.
Yeah.
That end is a good stiff arm getting away from the quarterback there, and good job.
So, Woodward offense back out there. So they tried Douglas Fisher to start the game, and obviously threw the interception early, was kind of struggling. They went to Cash Carter, who just threw that pick six, and now they're back to Douglas Fisher, I believe is who that is. It looks like Douglas Fisher's back out there. So Woodward kind of searching for answers right now in a big early hole, 21-0. Fisher handoff to Long. Wow. And he's got nowhere to go. He's going to lose another yard or two. Boy, it's been a while, Billy, since Woodward just had a play that gained yards.
Right.
Newcastle defensively is swarming right now.
Well, and you just saw it, just one after another. I think 7 white jerseys just kept hitting on him, which I got to say, it goes to him. He stayed on his feet that long, but they just kept pounding him in that pursuit.
And you got whistles here. Looks like they're giving them Woodward a chance to get an injured player off. So a quick sub. And back to it. 2 minutes to play in the first quarter at Boomer Stadium. Douglas Fisher takes the snap. He'll roll out to his right. Pressure in his face again. He's going to just have to get rid of it. Oh, boy, big hit. Alcision put him into the ground, and they're going to get rough on the passer on that. Yeah. That seemed a little late.
Yes. Well, and I think same thing happened last week. Last week was a lot closer. He had just gotten rid of the ball when that happened. This one, not quite as close, a little more obvious. It's just one of those things where you just get inches from the quarterback so many times.
Yeah.
You just want to get it. You want to just at least grab him or something.
Yeah,
and that got him.
I'm not totally sure about Woodward. Obviously, that got the rough in the pass. It gives him a first down up to the 35. This continuing to roll Douglas Fisher out because it's kind of forcing – it's letting defenders get on him a lot quicker than maybe if he just hung out in the pocket. We'll see if they continue to do that. Pass on the flat here. This is Wickware. Oh, nice hit. He got stuck. That was Burchett again on that hit. He did get about a yard.
There's a flag on the far side.
Yeah, there's a flag here. We're correct on that far sideline. I didn't quite see that.
It almost feels like Woodward is trying to do different things rather than just play their game. And that's just the feeling I have, to be honest with you. And I haven't seen anything but highlights. But it almost feels like they're trying to do things they would not normally do to try and get some kind of advantage.
Still waiting to see what the call is here. Now they're going to say false start. I don't, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I appreciate the officials discussing it to get the call right. I do. I'll say that.
They also moved the ball to the other hash. I'm not
Yeah.
sure why they did that. 1st and 15.
I don't know.
So the play didn't count. So that first, Woodward got a little positive yardage and got wiped
back.
away. So 1st and 15 after the penalty. It's kind of been a long first quarter here at Boomer Stadium. 4 receivers set, all at the top, none to the bottom. Douglas Fisher will throw out in the flat here. Pass is caught. And another great open field tackle by the Racers. That was number 3, Ian Barker.
Yeah.
All over number 13, Carson Medina.
Ian Barker is just all over the place out there. He wasn't even one of the original guys there, I think, in the close coverage. He was way back in the coverage and got there that fast, and guy tried to run around him, and just you're not going to get around the speed of this defense.
It really, I can't recall a game that we've seen that me and you and I have done, and we've been doing this for a while now on Oklahoma Sports Network, where the opponent is having such a hard time just gaining yards. It is negative play after negative play after negative play right now. He's going to go ahead and throw it deep. I don't mind this. Heskew. Oh, a circus catch!
Great catch.
Carson Medina.
Wow.
That was an unbelievable catch. Rex Heskew was right in his grill with one hand, the tip drill, pulled it down right at the sideline. That was phenomenal. That was good defense by Heskew. That was just an incredible catch.
Very good defense by him, and just kind of keeping that concentration. He pulled that in on his back.
That was some SC top 10 stuff.
Yes.
Down to the 44, so whereas I was saying the negative play thing, they get a huge positive play. Here's the run for Long up the middle. Not a lot. There he's carrying his man!
Yeah.
That's a first down, but I think they may flag it. Is that illegal?
I believe it is. I believe it is, carrying it like that.
Oh, man. Long squeezed through, and his offensive lineman, who I believe is 76, which I don't have a 76. Is there one on the new roster?
Look down here.
I thought it was 76. 75 maybe.
They pulled up the flag.
They're going to count it. I don't know what just happened. So that's going to be a first down for Woodward down to the 33. Long broke a tackle, and then his offensive lineman just carried him across. It was 75. Corvin, what's the last name? Samarco.
I don't know who gets the stats.
Yeah, it almost should be shared. Long will throw. Pass. This is going to be high and wide of the mark. Incomplete. 22 seconds to play in the first quarter, so we're on the tail end here of this opening frame.
Well, and you're seeing them, except for that, with the exception of that pass, going up the middle, going up the middle more. I think just going to your bread and butter, I think, is what they're needing to do. Now the adjustment needs to be made by Newcastle.
I can't believe what a combination of plays between that one-handed catch and
Can I call it the turducken? Yeah, the football carried by the running back, carried by the blocker.
2nd and 10. Douglas Fisher back to pass. He's going to roll out again. This is kind of his move, and he's pushed out of bounds. That's going to count as a sack for Hunter Berry. Big loss again. So 3rd and long coming up for the Boomers.
Seems like they got some momentum and then just kind of lose it, but you've got to give it to Newcastle. It's not like they're just playing bad. It's not like they don't have players on their team. You're just seeing Newcastle really stepping up and forcing them to have to stay in their backfield and make some kind of play from there.
I wonder if Ryan Douglas Fisher, if part of it is he's only 5'8". Maybe part of it is to get him outside that line so he can have better vision, because they are rolling him out quickly on every single one of these plays, and it's not really these defensive ends for Newcastle just getting out on them immediately.
It does look like he's having trouble seeing down the field.
3rd and long. Douglas Fisher will stay. This time's going to stay in the pocket. He'll fire out. Pass is caught by Medina. Make one man miss.
Ooh.
Big hit just shy of the 30. Driving him to the ground is Lovejoy. Yeah. So it's going to be 4th down and about 7. And I think Coach Gordon's going to get the quarter to think about this, and he will. So that's going to end the first quarter. We'll see what Woodward elects to do on 4th down after this break. At the end of 1, it's Newcastle 21, Woodward 0 on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
So that's Will, and that's Tim. And the farm has been in the family now how long, Tim?
100 years or so.
You stopped counting.
Yes.
The idea that 1.5% of this country is feeding 330 million people 3 times a day.
You shut down a lot of oil and gas, you shut down a lot of U.S. ag. All of a sudden, we start paying a lot more for food, and there's a lot more hungry people all over the world.
Is that all right?
Back to Boomer Stadium on the Oklahoma Sports Network. Second quarter, and Newcastle's in front healthily at 21-0. We'll see what the Boomers like to do. Looks like they are going to go ahead and go for this. I mean, not that I wouldn't think that they would. On the 30-yard line, down 21 points. So big fourth down here. Woodward trying to get a little momentum to their side. 4th and 7, and this is not going to help as flags right on the snap. All right, that's going to be a false start and back them up 5 more yards.
Yeah.
So 4th and 12.
4th and 12.
Josh Calloway on hand. Billy Collier alongside me. Carson Wade on the production. Uriah Martinez outside working the camera for us tonight. Final non-district game for both these teams. Obviously across the state. District play starts next week, which will be a lot of fun. Newcastle and Tecumseh next Friday night at Racer Stadium. And at Gene Reed Field, we're going to have Gene Reed on the call next week.
That's
you and
right.
Gene. I'm looking forward to that. That'll be a little different for everybody. Excited for that, though. You guys are doing a great job with the coaches show. So now you bring that action to game day.
It'll be interesting. It'll be a lot of fun. We kind of take a relaxed version of the coaches show. Just kind of relax, talk about football, talk about coaches. It's going to be a little bit different. We're trying to keep up with the plays going on.
100%. So looking forward to that next week. Thanks to Gene tagging in for me next Friday. I'll be back with you in a couple weeks. So they're going to go ahead and punt after the penalty. They may have punted before. We'll never know. That's a heck of a punt, though, by Douglas Fisher. That bounced right inside the 10. We'll see where they actually put it. It's like they're going to give it the 5. Wow, so a great punt by Douglas Fisher, and that's where Newcastle will set up camp. We actually haven't seen the Racer offense in a while because they scored and then they got that pick 6. Also haven't seen Jackson Burt in a while because that last touchdown drive was led by Shanuel. So Burt's back out there. I think this is the first time he's been out there since that. Well, no, they had the drive where they stalled out over on this side. So
We'll see some fresh legs. Maybe can do that. Maybe sitting out watching Shanuel have some success. He's ready to have success of his own.
So 1st and 10 for Jackson Burt and the Racer offense. On their own 5-yard line. Handoff goes to Burchett around the left side. Breaking tackles. Trey Burchett. Nice juke move across the first down marker. Trey Burchett doing some nice things. If you remove that fumble, he's having a monster game.
Yeah, he's having a coming out party right now. He's doing real good. You heard him a lot on defense. I knew that they'd been putting him in there in that 2-back system back there, and you got a big blocker right there in Big Ruben.
Yeah.
He's going to clear the way for you.
Well, I mean,
right
you know, the cliche, of course, is always next man up, and the Racers are missing their top 2 running back tonight, Carson Bolser and T.J. Bradford, but stepping right in and making things happen right now is Burchett. And here is Ruben Owens on the carry here. Or, excuse me, Ruben Rendon-Zamora. I don't know where I got Owens from.
Yeah, he just ran it right into the meat of him and dared him to tackle him and held him up for a while.
Short gain makes it about 2nd and 8. As we're just about a minute into this second quarter on OSN. Glad you could be with us, however you may be watching this evening. Burt fakes the handoff. He'll keep it up the middle. A little bit of a little baby leap there. Forward gets him a few yards. That'll set up a 3rd down.
Yeah, that's a good job. Keep trying to go forward. He got hit, went backwards a step, then tried to pull out of that, but fell forward just in his height, probably picked up 2 yards.
So 3rd and 5 it'll be for Newcastle here. This Woodward defense really hasn't been too bad so far. I mean, one of the Newcastle's touchdowns came on a short field. Another was on a pick 6. So the score may not look it if you're just tuning in, but Boomers defensively have actually done a fairly nice job. Burt will give it to Jalen Lane on a jet sweep here, trying to get that corner, and he just gets shoestring tackled shy of the marker. And it's going to be a 4th down and about 1.
Wow.
And we'll see what Coach Brickman and the Racers elect to do here. You're way in your own end, so they might just go ahead and punt this with the way their defense is playing. And they are going to go ahead and play it conservatively and punt it. That was a nice shoestring tackle on Lane to keep him short.
He was not going to let go of him at all, and so that was a great job.
So Batchelder will come out and boot it away, so Woodward defensively gets a stop. This actually isn't Batchelder. This is Burt back there to do this punt. Oh, well, now we got guys jumping everywhere. This is going to be an offsides, I think.
Wow. I don't even know what to call that.
That was bizarre.
It almost turned into rugby.
Newcastle, this is going to be a penalty on Woodward. That was just a mental lapse. It was 4th and 1, and they brought Burt out to do the punt. Then they kind of shifted, and several Woodward guys just went like they snapped the ball. They kind of got fooled.
I don't know how you call this. I mean, obviously there was more than one person moving on the offense.
But they were just it was legal shifting, I believe. I mean, I don't see how that wouldn't be. Yeah, it's a penalty against Woodward, so that's going to result in a 1st down. That's a tough penalty.
Man.
After the Boomers' defense got a quick 3-and-out, or not a 3-and-out, but got a stop to get the ball back. And that's an ugly penalty to give the ball back or keep this drive going for.
Yeah, that's a gut punch right there.
Yeah.
Wow, that's like colorful play from last year. So you're just drawing them offense, you shift them offense.
So it's a 1st down to the 35, and Racers keep this possession going. Fake the handoff to Burchett. Burt back to pass. Look at this pocket. He's got all day. He's going to go deep. He's got Schumar down there wide open.
Oh.
And a good job coming over and breaking that thing up by Colin Boren, number 2, as Schumar was all alone, but a little too much air under that pass. Just couldn't. It was like, get down.
Right. Well, that was one. You've heard me say this before. If you play Xbox, that's one you should have hit and hold, not tap the button.
Yeah, don't tap it. Don't do the lob pass. Yes.
I think if he'd have thrown that a little more direct, they would be looking at a touchdown right now.
Yeah, kind of got hung up there a little bit. It is a little breezy out tonight. Not crazy windy, but it is windy. Might have contributed there.
Oh, big hole.
We're up the middle from Burchett. He had a nice lane to run through, and that's going to be another 1st down for the Racers on offense. Trey Burchett starting to really pile up the yardage.
Boy,
this drive that began on the 5 is now out near midfield.
Man, that just having a coming out party running well.
Burt, go right back to him. More Burchett up the middle, breaking through some tackles. Eventually will be slung down after a short gain across the 50 to the 48, looks like is what they're going to give him. It's about a 5-yard gain.
That was a good tackle. Bobby Kirk in there, grabbing on and not going to let go for anything. Finally brought him down.
8:37 and counting to play in the 1st half here from Boomer Stadium. Of course, stick with us at halftime. You can see the bands perform here. The Racer Band did make the journey, so they'll perform here as well as the Woodward Home Band. We'll show you both those here on OSN. Little screen pass here out to Lovejoy. Just running through guys, and he's going to get the 1st down again down to the 41. That was just, you're between where I need to get, so I'm just going to go through you to get to that marker, and he did just that. 1st down.
And that's Lovejoy. If you know Lovejoy, he's a nice guy, calm, relaxed, until he steps in between the sidelines. Then he just wants to pound a helmet.
Shane Lovejoy also with an interception tonight, back on the 1st drive of the game for Woodward. It's quite the drive being put together right now, so got a ways to go. And they're going to feed Lovejoy on the ground, running hard. Again, falls forward, about a 5-yard gain to the 36. And this is methodical right now for Newcastle. Clock is kind of just really starting to churn. And again, this started on the 5-yard line.
Well, and you talk about that conditioning, and they're going hurry up. This is what you do to wear out those teams, wear out that defense. You can kind of see some of them hands on their hips. They're ready to come off the field.
2nd down and 5 after the 1st down run from Lovejoy. Burt's going to give it to Burchett this time. Burchett's got a lane on the left side, running through guys, bouncing off defenders, and he's wrangled down inside the 20. Another trip to the Trinity Restoration red zone, and Newcastle's knocking on the door.
That's a great run. Running into defenders, running into offensive guys, and working his way around, spinning and getting there. So that was a good job. Looks like I didn't see who called timeout.
Woodward did. Yeah,
Woodward,
the Boomers.
They need it.
Yeah, this is just Coach Gordon recognizing his guys needed a blow for a second.
Yes.
Because Newcastle is obviously marching down the field right now. This breaking action gives me a chance to thank our second quarter sponsor, which is a longtime Racer football sponsor on OSN, Contemporary Family Dentistry. The number one goal is to deliver quality dentistry by providing big practice benefits with a little practice feel. Come in and experience the difference. 1117 Northwest 32nd Street. Give them a call at 405-387-9300. And you've seen them a few times tonight. They've been busy, been lots of big plays. But again, I want to make sure we thank our instant replay sponsor, which is Eric Ledoux State Farm. And again, you can call him at 405-392-3992. Been a lot of opportunities tonight, lots of big plays. That pick six is probably the highlight so far from Burchett.
That was huge. I mean, you think about it, it's 21-0 game. But that was an excellent, at a good time. They were starting to get a little bit of momentum. He steps in that, pushes him away, and gets into the end zone. So that was good timing on that.
I want to make sure we also remind people to watch the Newcastle Rangers Coaches Show each and every week. Tuesday nights
at 6:30
on OSN, live from Luigi's. So join Billy and Gene Reed at Luigi's for the Coaches Show, or watch live, or watch it at your leisure. That's also an option as well. It doesn't go anywhere. It stays on the YouTube, stays on the OK Sportsnet app as well. So be sure to catch up with Coach Brickman and players and other special guests that they have each week talking about Racer football. Burt pressure in his face, and he's slung to the ground. Big sack. And we said this young man's name a few times tonight, Kaysen Boren. He's been active. That's a big negative play there that Woodward needed.
That was huge. In fact, that takes him out of that red zone area. Just one of those times I think they got a little too comfortable, thought everything was just going to go like it always does, and defense stepped up and stopped them.
So a big negative play makes it 2nd down and 18. See how the Racers approach this being well behind the sticks. Burt, little QB draw play, nowhere to go.
No.
Nicely done there by Woodward defensively. Kind of hard to make out the number. These jerseys are not the friendliest on the eyes for this kind of thing. I think it's 29, which is like Bowen Morton making that play.
Yeah, I think they have figured out they can do some things by adjusting and moving around there on the front four, not getting a whole lot up the middle there like you were.
We give Coach Gordon some credit out of that timeout. 2 big negative plays. It's now 3rd and 20 for the Racers as we cross the midway point of the second quarter. Burt back to pass. Another good pocket all day to throw over the middle. He's got Shumard. It's caught inside the 5, and he's in. Great. Touchdown, Newcastle.
That was a great pass.
26-yard laser from Burt to Shumard on 3rd and 20.
Man, great job, great recognition, great route run. They're playing, again, that 4-2-5 is more of like a zone read and watching their zones, and you find that open spot there, and that's just what Shumard did there, finding it, getting in there, and getting to the end zone. Great job.
So the Racers have had 4 different guys score touchdowns in this first half, and that one right there was a rocket pass. This extra point, I don't know if it was blocked or just kind of mishit. That was funky looking, but it's no good. And so with 5:46 to play in the first half, that long, over 6-minute drive for the Racers ends in a touchdown. Woodward will have the ball back next. Racers firmly in control on the Oklahoma Sports Network. Back at Boomer Stadium, 27-0 Newcastle here in the Oklahoma Sports Network. Josh Calloway, Billy Collier. 5:46 to play in the first half. Jackson Burt's second touchdown pass of the night. Both came on 3rd and longs as well, but that one especially so. 3rd down and 20, and a rocket pass in between defenders to Aiden Shumard for a 26-yard touchdown. And the Racers well on front as the extra point, the field goal, the kickoff is pooched and fair caught inside the 25-yard line. That's where Woodward will set up shop.
Yeah, that was a really short kick. I don't know if that was strategic or what.
Well, you had Wickware had that big return earlier,
yes.
So maybe trying to avoid him.
Yeah, and then that was one that just Boren caught with the knee on the ground.
So Woodward will set up on their own 23-yard line. This is Douglas Fisher back out at quarterback. He'll hand it off to Long up the middle. Nice hard run by Ace Long across the 30, which is a great name, by the way. We got way too far into this without complimenting the name. Fantastic. Also, another young man. We haven't said his name yet tonight. He's just a freshman, so we probably won't. But wide receiver for Woodward, Titan Fields. I mean, that's a good one.
That's a real good one. The movie's written about that name.
Oh, yeah. That is a movie character name if I ever heard one.
Yes.
7-yard run for Long on first down. Sets up second down and 3. Go back to Long again. Short run for another yard or 2. I'm kind of surprised we haven't seen Woodward do more of this. Just kind of riding Ace Long. Obviously, the pass game has just not been there. Douglas Fisher has not had time to throw.
Well,
I'm kind of surprised. I mean, when you get behind the chains, you kind of have no choice. But I was surprised they haven't kind of tried to pound it with Long a little more.
Well, and I think you're going to see more success with him going to Ace Long a lot more, making him more of the workhorse. They've tried these other things, getting around the edges, throwing it out in the flats, and it hasn't worked. If you get down to just meat and muscle, I think they'll have a little more success.
4:28 and counting to play in the first half here on OSN. 27-0 Racers. Handoff Long again. He'll burrow his way forward, and that is going to be a first down for the Boomers. Haven't had a lot of those tonight, but they get one here on 3 straight long carries.
Yeah. And look who's right in the middle there, head popping there for Newcastle. You got Jordan Lane right there hitting as well. Yeah, you just watched Long pick up, 11 yards this series?
Mm-hmm.
And I think going back to him, I think the run opens up the pass opens the run.
So 1st and 10 up to the 34. Douglas Fisher will roll out and fire to the sideline. Pass is caught by Medina, make a man miss. Sticking with it, though, is Burchett, and he'll wrangle him, take him out of bounds at the 41 or 42 or so. It'll be second down, but second and short. It's a nice throw by Douglas Fisher. One guy who's kind of gotten loose a couple times has been Carson Medina for the Boomers.
Well, and there you see it again. They have, 4 straight runs to Ace Long, 3 straight runs to Ace Long, and then they go for the pass there out in the flat. The run opens up the pass. So see if they stick with it.
7-yard gain makes it second down and 3. Long will spread out here. So they got 5 wide, all at the top again. And he's going to just launch it out of bounds, so this will be incomplete. Probably should have been intentional grounding again, but if we didn't get it earlier, I don't think we're getting it in this game. No. That was a funky play design, too, because he faked it to the side of the field where there was nobody there. I don't know who's going to bite on that fake when there's nobody there.
Well, especially when you got 5 guys on the other side. They're not even seeing the fake. They're watching their man.
So incomplete pass makes it 3rd and 3. As a police officer with his lights on in the distance. Did you see that? You kind of joked about it. From our spot, you can almost see the whole town.
Oh, there he is.
There he goes. 3rd and 3. Fake the handoff here. He's going to fire it deep, looking for Medina. He's got to step on his man. This guy's unreal.
Man.
Another outrageous catch by Carson Medina. What's happening?
He is a man out there. Just great concentration. That's some special-looking plays. Just staying with the ball. That was almost behind his head when he caught it. Just a great catch.
I mean, the first one is still crazier, but that was, in any other night, the catch of the night.
Right.
That was outrageous. So put it anywhere near Carson Medina, and he's got a chance. What a night for him. So 1st and 10. Woodward's on the move here. QB draw with Douglas Fisher. Going to run hard. Big collision at the 30. And Burchett just completely stopped him in his tracks.
Yeah, he ran into the arms of Burchett there. I want to get back to the receiver. That is 2 incredible catches that he has just stayed focused in on.
Yeah.
Just really good. Jalen Lane was right there. I mean, he was in great defense but just an incredible catch.
Yeah, I mean, both plays, the catch is spectacular, but then you're on the sideline, so to keep your feet and land in bounds both times, pretty nuts as well. He's a couple of insane highlight plays, and this will be another incomplete pass again to nobody. These are all intentional grounding. I mean, just calling it like I see it here, but nothing called there. 3rd and 8.
Is he getting outside the box or something? I don't know.
That one maybe. The last 2, no.
Right.
Especially that first one.
Yeah.
But it's an incomplete pass, 3rd and 8. The officials did talk about it, and there they go. Look at it. There they go. They're going to throw it this time. So that surprises me, though, because that was probably the least egregious of the ones we're talking about. But this time they do call it. It's going to be intentional grounding against the quarterback, Douglas Fisher. So that hurts. That's a big call because, you lose the yardage, and the down still counts. So it's basically the same as a sack is essentially what it boils down to. So those are big calls that haven't been happening. But this time they will call it, and it's going to set up a 3rd and a lot. So instead of a 3rd and what would it have been, 3rd and 10 or 8 or so, it's 3rd and about 20.
Wow.
Big difference. Back to pass. Pressure in his face. He'll roll out, gets around one guy. He's going to go ahead and fire over the middle, and it's caught! Was that Medina again?
I can't see.
It was!
Wow.
He got upended, huge hit. I'll tell you what, this kid, he's a senior. Some attention needs to be put on this guy just for the hands alone. My goodness, what a catch.
Well, if you're watching, you're seeing somebody come out. I guarantee you there's some colleges, maybe not Division I at the top rank, but there's some colleges noticing this tonight.
I'm going to take it upon myself. I'm going to send this tape out for this kid because he's doing everything tonight. So it was 3rd and 20, and so he's still short. They're obviously going to go for it. 4th down and 5. $1:52 on the clock, and Woodward takes a timeout to make sure they get their ducks in a row here as we approach halftime. Like we said, at halftime, stick with us. The stream will not be going anywhere. You're going to see the Newcastle band perform, as well as the hometown band perform here at Boomer Stadium. Then Billy and I will rejoin you before the second half starts. We'll go through some scores and get you all ready for the 3rd quarter of action from Boomer Stadium. Shout out to everybody tuned in. I know the great Gene Reed is tuned in.
Yes.
He messaged me before the broadcast tonight, so shout out to Gene.
Yeah,
who will be on the call next week, aside for that.
I have some people that send me little things, throughout the game, little things that are said, little things that they saw. So, it's a shout out to them. I know there's a lot of you watching tonight. Glad that you're watching. Glad that you're on here. Your team and your fans and your band and all really holding up that pride in Newcastle.
Absolutely. So, it'll be 4th down for Woodward. 4th and 5 on the 27. This has been the Boomers' best drive. Trying to keep it going. Again with this 5 receiver at the bottom set. Really unique. Douglas Fisher back to pass on 4th down. He'll roll out. Man chasing him, I think, is Elcision. He's going to fire here. Got a man. It's caught. 1st down for the Boomers inside the 10. Going across all the way to the far side. He's going to score. Touchdown, Woodward.
Wow.
27-yard touchdown. I think that was number 15, Luke Talley, on the touchdown.
That was a great catch and run. He just ran against the grain, ran around everybody. Did a real good job. Good call by the coaches after that timeout. So
yeah, out of the timeout, both offensively and defensively, Coach Ken Gordon is dialing it up for the Boomers.
Yes. So that was good. Some good catching, some good pass plays there. You can't help but think that Long's run game kind of opened some of that up.
So Luke Talley, first time saying his name tonight, catches that pass, makes some guys miss, takes it all the way from one sideline to the other, scores a touchdown. Long boots through the extra point, and the Boomers are on the board just before halftime, 27-7. 1:40 to play until halftime. We're going to take another timeout. Here we come back. Racers still with 2 timeouts and some time to work with. We'll see what they do next right here on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
So that's Will, and that's Tim. And the farm has been in the family now how long, Tim?
100 years or so.
You stopped counting?
Yes.
The idea that 1.5% of this country is feeding 330 million people 3 times a day.
You shut down a lot of oil and gas, you shut down a lot of U.S. ag. All of a sudden, we start paying a lot more for food, and there's a lot more hungry people all over the world.
Back to Boomer Stadium in Woodward, Oklahoma, where the Boomers are on the board. A 27-yard touchdown toss from Ryan Douglas-Fisher to Luke Talley on a 4th down gets Woodward into the score column here. And obviously, if you're Coach Gordon, Bill, you got to like that. I mean, obviously, you're still in a big hole, but to take some positivity into the locker room, because obviously it had been all Newcastle before that. So that's a big play for a lot of reasons.
Boy, they needed that, and they needed it very bad, getting that momentum right before halftime, because if you take all the other – well, you take the majority of the plays, they have not had a real good half, and then to get this right at the end is some good momentum.
So with a minute 40 until halftime, they'll kick it away. They'll be fielded by Lane just inside the 15. Go right down the middle, and he's tripped up just shy of the 35. And that's where the Racers will set up. Again, they got 2 timeouts and a minute 36 to work with. So I would think Newcastle's going to stay aggressive here and see if they can't go get some more points.
I'd agree, especially with that hurry-up offense and speed offense.
The Racers also started this game with the ball, so Woodward will get the ball to start the second half. So the Boomers have a chance here to really take some good mojo into the locker room, but they need another stop here. See what they do with 96 seconds until the half. Burton the gun with a 4-receiver set, 2 on each side. He'll fire to the far side. Pass is caught by Heskew right about the 40. That's what do you call that, about a 5-yard pickup or so? 6 maybe?
Yeah, it looks like about 6 or so. Yeah, the best thing about that pass is he hurried up and got out of bounds. He didn't try to get extra yardage on it.
Minute 30 to play until halftime. Again, apologies for not having the clock on our board. Just some technical difficulties. We'll get that buttoned up for you before next week. Burt rolls out and fires to the far side. This is Schumart across the 45, making one-man miss. Gets across midfield and tackle down for a first down into Woodward territory. So the Racers on the move here, still with plenty of time.
Yeah, they're still moving. They're starting that clock now, getting it going. So I think you should see a timeout after this play.
1:15 and counting to play until halftime. Burt takes the snap. Rolls out to his right. He's going to go ahead and just tuck in and run. Lowers the boom. Oh, my goodness. Trucked over a man. Gets about just a couple or so. Going out of bounds, so the clock will stop at 1:03.
I definitely gave him a hello there on the sideline.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to say hello on this sideline, but that was a good run by him, just lowering that shoulder, making sure to get out of bounds.
That was a wallop.
Yeah.
Only giving him 2. So second down and 8 to the 44-yard line. 1:03 to go until halftime. Burt takes it. Gives it to Burchett with a lot of room up the middle there. Makes a guy miss across the 35, good inside blocking. The 30. Burchett's loose down the sideline into the red zone, inside the 15. So the Racers, they say, forget your momentum as they're on the move here with 55 seconds. Plenty of time. They are once again cracking the Trinity Restoration red zone.
Well, 2 things I saw in that play that were just incredible. 1, he got out of bounds. 2, that down the field blocking there by Schumart. Man, great staying on that block.
1st and 10 at the 15. Burt back to pass again. Racers still with 2 timeouts. They can do whatever they want here. Burt making a guy miss, rolling out, and he's going to just go ahead and fire it away. That's a smart move by Burt, and something that you and I have talked about a lot in the early part of this season. That's him being a senior showing up. First down, he's still got plenty of time. There's no need to do anything silly. Just get rid of it. Live to fight another day.
That's right, yeah, that was smart play. I think 2-3 years ago, we'd have seen him trying to get to the end zone. Mm-hmm. So that was good, heady, mature play.
2nd and 10 after the incomplete pass. 46 seconds on the clock. Burt rolls out to his left. He's going to go ahead and fire. He's got Heskew stuck behind the defense, diving to the goal line. They're going to say he's just short. They're going to call him inside the 1. Rex Heskew just kind of deked his defender and snuck behind him. And he's down inside the 1. We're down to about 30 seconds. Racers still have time here, and they know it. They got 2 timeouts as well.
Wow.
And 25 seconds. If you want to make sure you get 4 shots at this, 20 seconds. Not really a lot of urgency here. I don't know if they realize the clock is moving. Doesn't matter if you score here. Hand off, Heavy J up the middle. Jaron Webb. Yeah, you're not stopping that guy with a full head of steam and 1 yard to get. Jaron Webb is in. 2nd touchdown of the night for Heavy J. And the Racers extend their lead at 33-7.
Yeah, you're not going to stop him. I think I saw him yawn right as he got to the line of scrimmage. I mean, he's just a heavy runner. He's got the legs, the arms, the helmet. He doesn't mind hitting. You're not going to stop him inside the 1 yard line. So that was a great call. Good run by him. And just great series this time, getting down the field that fast.
Oh, yeah, that was perfect. 12 seconds, all that's left. Batchelder's extra point, redemption from before. Boots it through. And just like that, after Jaron Webb's second touchdown of the night, it's 34-7 Newcastle. So, I mean, just what we were saying, Billy. I mean, you talk about the fact that Woodward got that nice drive, and they get the ball to start the second half. It's like, okay, a little bit of life for the Boomers, and then that's a soul-sucking drive right there.
It is, and just watching it, especially the longest drive of the night was not a pass but a run. And to just feel, I mean, that's where most defenses take their pride, is stopping the run. And to see that run go all the way down there by Burchett had to just kind of be a gut punch in all of this right here.
So we only got 12 seconds before halftime. I imagine Woodward won't be overly aggressive, only one timeout, all they have to work with. So we'll see what they do, though, after the kickoff.
I am definitely going to keep my eye on, what's his number, 10? The one that's making all the plays.
Yeah,
Wickware. Definitely going to keep my eye on him. So this may play right into his wellhouse. I don't know how well it'll work with no timeouts.
Yeah, they avoided him last time. See if they do that again. He is out there to return. Batchelder will kick it away, and they aren't going to give him a shot. So Wickware will field it at about the 10-yard line. Going to go all the way to the far side. Keep contained, breaking through. Ooh. For just a moment there, Bill, it didn't kind of seem like there was a lot of green after that kind of initial wave, but they get him down. So with 5 seconds left, Woodward will take over on the 26-yard line, and we'll see if they do anything here beyond just a handoff.
Yeah, that was Aiden's brother, Alex Schumar, that just grabbed him and didn't let go and held him for the other guys to get there.
Just a never-ending train of Schumards. Is there another one after that? How many more they got?
I think so.
So 5 seconds. Don't imagine Woodward will do much here. Douglas Fisher will take it, and he's actually going to just kneel it down. And that'll take it to the end of the first quarter. So Newcastle, a lot to like. Obviously, Billy Woodward, that nice drive there, but outside of that, pretty much domination from the Racers in the first 24 minutes.
Absolutely. I think they won in most aspects of that game. You really got to watch, that receiver. As good as he is, you've got to have to keep a thumb on him. And it looks like they moved Jordan Lane to him after every catch he got.
Yeah.
So you really got to have to keep an eye on him. It looks like maybe Long maybe picking up some things and doing that as well. So, yeah, this game's not over. It's a good score. I think Newcastle's playing them very well. But you're going to have to finish it. You're going to have to play the next 24 minutes just like you played the first 24 minutes.
Absolutely. So all Newcastle at the end of 2 quarters, 34-7 on top of the Boomers. We'll step aside here. The bands will do their thing at Boomer Stadium. And then Billy and I will rejoin you in just a bit to talk about some scores around the state tonight and look ahead to the second half. Stick with us. Band performances and halftime report coming up in just a bit here on the Oklahoma Sports Network. Racers in control 34-7 at the end of 2 quarters.
College is more than just going to class. College is a journey. It's meeting new people and making new friendships that will last a lifetime. It's learning from professors who care about you and your success. And finding out it can be really fun and rewarding. It's discovering that thing you want to do for the rest of your life. Cameron University is all about helping you grow and succeed. Because your success is our success.
When it comes to your home, you need someone that you can trust to keep it safe and protected for you and your family.
Vesta Foundation Solutions is your local, family-owned company that has helped many homeowners fix and protect their homes.
Our engineered solutions can take care of all of your foundation repair, basement waterproofing, concrete leveling, and dirt crawl space repair needs.
We take pride in getting the job done right, and you'll always be protected with up to a 75-year warranty.
Contact us today for a free estimate.
All right, back at Boomer Stadium. We are just about ready to start the second half between the Newcastle Racers and the Woodward Boomers on the Oklahoma Sports Network. Josh Calloway, Billy Collier, up with you in the booth alongside Carson Wade on the production. Uriah Martinez outside working the camera for us tonight. Braving the elements. It's a little chilly. I walked around a little bit at halftime, got some food, Billy, and I was like, I'd put on a jacket if I was out here. It's cold out here.
It was, isn't it?
Feels like fall.
It does. It feels a whole lot like fall, which to you and me feels like football.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so, yeah, it was kind of nice to be a little brisk out there.
Had a really good burger at halftime. Had onions on it. It was grilled up. We smelled it right when we walked in. We were like, what does that smell? I had a burger, and I liked it so much I went down and bought another one. I ate a second one. I pigged out a little bit.
I have this thing they call a weight problem, and so I have to stay away.
I love the Tommy Boy reference. It's great. We'll give you a few 4A scores here as we get ready to start. I mentioned some of those games off the top in 4A that we were keeping an eye on. We didn't forget about them. Bridge Creek all over Western Heights right now, 28-6. Tecumseh, who we'll see next week, they're down to McLeod right now, 7-6. Really low-scoring game there. That's in the third quarter of that game. Guthrie on top of Tuttle, 13-3. That game's just getting going in the second half. Where did that Blanchard game go? Blanchard's down to Shawnee, 24-20 at the half there, so a lot of points in that ball game. In that one. And then Elgin Weatherford, another one that we talked about. That's on OSN tonight. Good game. 13-0 Elgin at the half of that one. So the Owls doing a nice job. And like we said, after kind of week 0, was Weatherford overrated? We'll kind of find out. Elgin's a really higher end 5A team. And Weatherford, they're getting shut out right now, but only down 13. So they're hanging right in with them. Be curious to see how that game plays out the rest of the way. And if you're curious also, we mentioned that Carl Albert Elk City game. Yeah, the Titans are doing their thing. 42-7. Carl Albert on top of the Elks out there way out west at Elk City. So there's some scores for you as you get ready to get into the second half. Billy, as the teams head out there for the kickoff, what's your second half key for the Racers? Obviously up big here. How do they keep it up?
I think they need to keep their foot on the pedal. They need to keep their foot on the throat, whatever illustration you need there. They need to play a solid second half. I'm not sure, even in the first game, they played a decent second half. I'm not sure they've had a game this season yet where they came out and had as good a second half as they had the first half. So that is something that I would like to see from them is a solid second half game. They should win this game, but I'd like to see them play well.
So as we start the second half, I want to make sure we thank our kickoff sponsor, Auto Accessories Unlimited. Custom paint and body for cars, trucks, boats, RVs, paint and body collision repair. 5600 Hutner Drive in Norman. Call them at 45360-8855. Our kickoff sponsors. We get the second half started. Racers kick it away. It's fielded by Wickwares. Has some nice returns tonight. He gets folded over here at the 30. Make sure to also thank our third quarter sponsor as we get back to it. Heat and Air Guy. There's no AC unit, residential or commercial, that shall defeat the Heat and Air Guy. He's there to protect you from surprises. For all your heat and air needs, call the Heat and Air Guy today, 405-305-5734. See him up in the corner there. Heat and Air Guy watching over us in this third quarter as the Woodward offense heads back out. It's been kind of a mixed bag for Woodward offensively. They've actually done some nice things, a good drive there before halftime, but also some rough turnovers and a lot, capital A-L-O-T, a lot of negative plays. A lot of plays that have lost yards tonight. But that last drive, far and away, obviously their best, as they finished it with a big touchdown.
Agree. See
what they do here. 1st and 10. Fake the handoff, pass on the flat. This is Wickware catching a pass, I think, for the first time tonight. And he does get a yard or two.
That's a good, tough catch. Really good. Again, they're going back out to those flats to see if they can get a little bit out there. They haven't had any success out there, hardly at all. Maybe one. But they start out going out there. I don't understand why you wouldn't just want to run it up the middle and set up the pass game by a run game.
Yeah, I agree. We talked in pregame about Ace Long kind of being their guy, and he's done some good things tonight, but they haven't really fed him in the way that you would think. Now, you're down a lot, but as this pass in the flat is skipped in, what's happening? Okay. They called it incomplete. They waited quite a while. I thought maybe it was backwards, but it looked pretty clearly forward in real time.
They definitely were looking to make sure that it was forward before they whistled it. I think if it was back and bounced up like that, I think that would be a good positive play because it looked like everybody had quit on it.
Yeah, so his incomplete pass makes it 3rd and 8. And now they're winding the clock even though it was an incomplete pass. I don't know if they're going running clock because of the score. I'm not sure. They didn't actually go. The head official signaling to run it. I don't know. Anyway, 3rd and 7, or 3rd and 8, 34-7. Snap bobbled by Douglas Fisher. Avoids the tackle. He's going to take off. Going to try and make it to the sticks. And he's not going to quite get there. He did a nice job, though.
Yeah.
On a broken play, breaking some tackles and getting some yardage, but it will be 4th down, and we'll see what Coach Gordon and the Boomers decide to do here.
Yeah, that was a good recovery there. And you see the speed there of Fisher getting around that end, dodging a hit from Shaniel right there at the end of it. He looks like he could be a pretty good runner if they let him run a little bit more often.
So it looks like the Boomers will accept defeat, a 3-and-out and a punt to start this second half. Racers look at the football back. Long does the honors. A line drive. Punt will bounce at the 25. Heskew fields on the hop inside the 20. Makes a couple guys miss, and eventually he's wrangled down at the 25. We talked in pregame about these white Newcastle jerseys getting dirty, and you're seeing that. You kind of do a quick little scan around, and most of these guys have got lots of stains on the. Nobody more than Heskew, though.
That's right. Heskew is just the human shovel out there, just digging up dirt where he can, and really having a good game, playing a solid game.
So 1st and 10 at the 24-yard line for Newcastle. 10:21 to play in the 3rd. Well out in front are the Racers, looking to finish non-district play, a picture-perfect, nice and clean 3-0. If they can finish this thing off. Jackson Shaniel in a quarterback. He makes the first man miss. He's going to fire deep. Aiden Schumar's all alone. He's got him. Aiden Schumar, nobody home. 75 yards.
Wow.
Touchdown, Newcastle.
That was a great pass.
Oh, my.
He just about got sacked, ducked, stepped forward, and just let it go, and Schumar just ran right under it. That was a great 75-yard touchdown pass right there. So it looks like they are going to keep their foot on the pedal. Looks like they're going to keep going. Great job right there.
Schumard's second of the night. He had that 26-yarder earlier, goes 75 right there. There was nobody near him, and Jackson Shaniel comes right in, first play of the second half, and throws a bomb. Extra point, spot down, up and through. Burt punches it in, Batchelder punches it through. And just like that, Newcastle's extended their lead out even further. 41-7 Racers, 10-10 to play in the 3rd. Time on the field, we'll take it 2 on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
At CFD, our mission is to deliver quality dentistry by providing big practice benefits with a little practice feel. Since 2008, we've updated our look, technology, and have added new smiles to our tenured staff to better care for you right here at home. Convenience for you is one of our biggest goals, and we often provide same-day treatment to minimize your time off work. We are open Monday through Friday to serve you. Visit cfdok.com for details. We look forward to seeing you at our big little practice.
Back to Boomer Stadium. Josh Calloway, Billy Collier.
Wow.
Jackson Shaniel's 75-yard touchdown bomb to Aiden Schumard. And the Racers now lead at 41-7. Kick away here. That wasn't Batchelder. I'll get the name there on who did the honors there. It rolled in, and it's fielded by the Boomers. Long return going all the way across the field and getting tackled down short of the 20-yard line. The kick, by the way, was done by 35 Caleb Dupler, or Duppler maybe.
Yeah, that was a good kick. There, guy fielding it, he ran about 80 yards for a gain of about 5. And
he went all the way from one sideline to the other.
That was good coverage. Good coverage by Newcastle Racers, getting over here to the far side. They really have looked good on special teams.
They have. 9:58 to play in the third. Newcastle 41-7. We mentioned these two teams played last year at Racer Stadium. 34-12. I mean, a healthy Racer win, but not a complete destruction by any means. We've certainly seen much worse, but tonight it's all Racers right now. 41-7. Run here for Ace Long. Not a lot there. He gets maybe a yard or two.
Yeah, Burchett was right there, ready to get him. They're showing a lot of skill in open field tackling. You're not seeing a lot of missed tackles out there. So that was another good one. You saw him. If he had gotten away from Burchett, there's a good chance that would have gone at least 20 yards.
Seems like the head official, by the way, is making a concerted effort to roll the clock a little more. It is a non-district game, so you can kind of take liberties with that sort of thing. We saw it last year. I can't remember who it was last year that had a running clock almost the whole second half. Douglas Fisher keeps here. Long run to the far side. Decent pickup. Still short of the marker, but not by much. Third down and short coming up. And I'm okay with moving the clock along.
I am
we have a journey back. Not you. You're actually staying over. You planned way ahead.
We are. It's kind of nice when you have an empty nest, you know, and so you can say, "Hey,
you're just gonna kick back, man. Grab a shower, just kind of hang."
That's right.
I'll be heading back to Oklahoma City, then back up to Tulsa tomorrow. It's one of those weekends. Handoff up the middle here to Long. I think he got it. He did. First down for the Boomers.
That's an excellent pause. If you saw what he did there, handed it off. He paused right there, kind of let the offensive and defensive lines hit their spot, and then he drove it forward. So that was a good one.
So the Boomers pick it up. And 1st and 10 up to the 31, 32. As we near the 8-minute mark to play in the third. Racers so far and looking to continue to do so, finishing non-district play with an exclamation point. Fumble snap, and Douglas Fisher just kept bobbling it. It's on the grass, and the Racers got it. That's a turnover. Diving on it, I think it was 52, which is Ricardo Chavira.
Yeah,
Douglas Fisher, the snap came in low, and he had it, and he just kind of kept bobbling it.
Well, that was the second one in a row that came low and got put on the ground. That one was actually, it looked like it was kicked out of his hand there by Long, trying to come across there, I don't know, to block or to do something, but actually kicked it out of his hands, and so that was a turnover right there.
So Racers take over on the 27-yard line. Still Jackson Shaniel in at quarterback, so the junior Shaniel, as the run here up the middle, gets inside the 25. On the carry there was...
Couldn't really see who that was.
Yeah, I'll catch that number.
36
is the number, which is Colton Bradley. So obviously you can see if you do a quick scan around the field. Coach Brickman working some other guys in. Obviously big score. Got Jackson Shaniel in. So Jackson Burt's night might be very well over and get some other running backs in, some other receivers. I'm going to go back to him here. Run up the middle. Pinballing around is Bradley for a decent pickup. Sets up a third down and short. And it looks like Newcastle's just on the outskirts here of the Trinity Restoration red zone.
Yeah, and they're just going to methodically just run up there. I don't know that they have stopped them hardly at all on the run all night. You're seeing some new runners out there doing a good job. You really got to give it to the offensive line. In fact, watching this play, the holes the offensive line opens up.
Third and short. Shaniel fires out in the flat. Pass is caught. First down and more up the sideline. And out of bounds. I think that was number 8, which is Caden Longman, who's also a quarterback on this team, maybe a quarterback of the future for this Racer program at some point down the line.
Yeah, good catch. I'm glad to see him getting into the game. I saw him at the Clinton scrimmage, and he's an exciting player to watch.
Racers keep on moving as we near the midway point of the third. Shaniel Handoff is faked. He'll keep it. Jackson Shanuel up the middle, bobbing and weaving, slicing and dicing, and he's in. Touchdown, Jackson Shanuel.
Wow. And just like that. And I need to apologize. Earlier I said it was Burt that threw that touchdown pass. It was Shanuel. So I apologize to Shanuel and his whole family. I don't apologize to Burt's family. They can deal with it. But, no, that was a great play. Good run by Shanuel. Way to see how the defense responded to the running back. They shot back to their right, so he took it up the middle.
I think that was from about 12 yards out. They took it off the board pretty quick, but Shanuel runs it in. All counts the same. Batchelder's extra point is through, and the lead just keeps on getting bigger. 48-7 Newcastle. 6:03 to play in the third. Racers in complete control on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
It's no secret that life is busy and you have a million things on your to-do list. Here at Community Bank of Oklahoma, we've made banking simple again. We can help you get to the important things in life, like the big game tonight.
We do all the heavy lifting, so you don't have to.
Race towards us at Community Bank of Oklahoma because we wouldn't be a community without you.
Back to Boomer Stadium. Josh Calloway, Billy Collier. Newcastle just keeps on pushing it out. 48-7 Racers. 6:03 to play in the third. As Shanuel putting together a nice night for him.
Wow.
What a kickoff that was. Just dropping that thing in there, and now filled all the way back inside the 5, and he's swarmed. Quite the kick there by Caleb Duppler. Senior kicker.
Great kick.
Just dropped it in. That was nice.
And I'm trying to see who the number is.
It's a high five from Coach Brickman. That's cool.
Well, I was trying to see who the number was that came running in there. I think it was number 7. That'd be Grady Downing. That guy that picked up the ball had one blocker, and Downing just took out the blocker and opened it up, and about 2 or 3 guys grabbed the runner. That was just pretty to get him way back there on about the 5.
They are running the clock, by the way. I know we don't have a clock on the screen here, but they're running it. So this is going to be a very quick second half. So hopefully everybody hangs out with us. And where else you got to be? It's a Friday night. Hang out. Kick it back with old Billy and I.
Oh, yeah.
5:23 to go in the third. Handoff here to Long. Bounce outside. Not a lot there. Just a yard or 2. As Newcastle certainly looks to be well on their way to a 3-0 start to their year, an undefeated run through non-district play, and obviously outside, Billy, of that third quarter where it got a little hairy last week, that's been pretty much dominant in these 3 games. It really has.
In fact, we talked on the coaches' show how even in the first game, they're going fast and doing the speed offense. Nothing really faltered for a first game.
Mm-hmm. Give him 2, second down and 8. Rolling out to pass here, firing deep, looking for his man Medina. Incomplete. Why not try it?
I know. I'm surprised he didn't catch it.
If you didn't see it earlier, Carson Medina, this senior wideout for Woodward, 2 of the best catches that we'll see all season.
Yes.
In this game, back in the first half.
He was an acrobat of the first half, man. Just 2 incredible catches. I'd love for ESPN to put that on their top 10.
We'll see what we can do.
Now, one thing I do like is you're seeing a defense still playing very smart, very much in control for this Newcastle Racers.
Oh, you see a lot of different faces out there, too. I mean, you got some of the usual suspects. You still see Lovejoy, who's coming around the edge right now. Half up the middle is not going to go for much of anything. It'll be 4th down coming up. You still see, like I said, Lovejoy's still out there. Burchett's still out there. But there's a couple new faces out there as well. As Coach Brickman working a lot of guys in, getting a lot of guys some experience. Yeah. So Woodward to stop. They'll have to punt. Caden Longman will come out for the Racers to return.
Yeah, and keep your eye on Caden Longman. He really, if he gets a chance, is going to be a special player as well. Watch and see. Almost everyone he touches, you think he's going to run back. So let's see what happens.
Longman just a sophomore.
Uh-huh.
You got to imagine whenever Jackson Burt moves on, it's going to be a battle between him and Jackson Shanuel for that potential starting quarterback job next year. Longman will field it just past the 50. Almost tripped up, but he stays on his feet. Nice return out near the 35. Yeah, we've seen Longman a little bit, kind of little spurts here and there. Obviously, you talked about seeing him get some extended action in that Clinton scrimmage this year, but he is a dynamic player. He can really sling it, and he's very athletic, very fast.
Big slinger.
And it looks like he might be getting this drive.
Oh, that does look like it. I'll tell you what, in that scrimmage, he had a Patrick Mahomes-type play where he was running towards the out of bounds, passed it across his body to, I believe it was Jalen Lane, and Jalen was doing a sprint, went right in for a touchdown on a scrimmage. It was really good.
Yep, so in at quarterback is number 8, Caden Longman, third quarterback used tonight for Newcastle. Just a sophomore. 5'9", 160, speedy and athletic. A lot to like with Longman. Here he goes on the read option, and he's tied up. It's going to be a face mask, though, as the Woodward defender there. Hard to make out the number. I'm, again, going to go back to the jerseys. Are a little hard to make out.
There's this thing with camouflage. You just can't see them.
Yeah. It blends in. It's an actual grass field out here, too, so I got nothing. But then you got the black numbers. It's a bit of a challenge.
It is.
Especially it gets dark. It gets at night. It was a little easier at the beginning of the game than it is now. Face mask, though, goes against the Boomers, so it'll be obviously wipe out the negative play and give them a lot of yardage. And they're out creeping toward that red zone again.
It looked like he was really maybe got scratched on the face or something like that, it looked like, so.
1st and 10. Looks like they're saying he's just outside the red zone. That's about the 21. That's where Newcastle will start. 2:45 and counting in this very quickly moving third quarter. Obviously, like we said a couple times, running clock here in the second half. The Racers up so big. Handoff up the middle here, bobbing and weaving. And tackle down near the first down marker is Colton Bradley again. This time they're definitely into the Trinity Restoration red zone.
That's a good run. He just ducked down, couldn't really see him with all the blockers up front, found a hole, shot through it, got as much as he could, picked up the first down.
Like you said, they give him the first, and it's right at the 10. I think it's 1st and goal. Actually, I think he can get a first down just inside. It's like about the 10.5 or 11. Handoff goes to Bradley again, running hard, carrying a guy with him, keeping the legs churning. He's down near the 5.
And I'll tell you what, that was our version of trying to carry him. The problem was there was a boomer on top of it trying to carry 2 people.
That play earlier.
Wow,
that's
crazy.
Going to live rent free in my head for a while. Just kidding.
But you got to give it to Birdsong there. If somebody's going to carry 2 players, it's going to be Birdsong. So that was a good run, good play.
Lots of different guys in there. You have Bobby Burrell in there at wide receiver, who we saw a lot more last year. Hadn't had a big impact yet this year. Corey Jones in there at receiver as well. Handoff goes again to Bradley, bounce outside, and he dives across, and he's in. Touchdown.
Wow.
Colton Bradley, the sophomore running back, is in from 4 yards out, and the Racers just keep on scoring.
And you've got to give it to that offensive line. I know there's some different numbers in there, and they're blocking away out there, but that was a hole we could see from up here that he just ran through there and continued blocking. Number 7 there, it was Grady Downing, continued his block there on the goal line.
So Colton Bradley, will say it was from about 5 yards out. Gets what I assume, is his first career touchdown.
Yep.
Extra point is good from Batchelder, and the Racers just keep on adding on. 55-7 Newcastle, 1:12 to go in the third. We'll go ahead and stick here, actually, Carson, as we're nearing the end of the quarter.
Well, you got to think about, what does this say about the future of Newcastle football, the future of Brickman? As you're seeing these guys come in and not missing a beat, I'm not sure, I'll be honest with you. Difficult to see the numbers on the Boomers. I don't know if they've gone to second teams, third teams also. But to see the guys come in, just run that efficient, run that strong, be a part of plays like that, I think says something about the future of Newcastle that, to me, is very exciting.
Trying to count it up. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different Racers have scored touchdowns tonight.
Wow.
And Schumar and Webb have 2 apiece.
Huh. And to think that those are the 2 people that have 2 apiece.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I miss seeing number 17 and number 5 out there, number 26. But this just shows you about the team and the program that Newcastle has.
Going to be a tough decision for that Elcision Realty player of the game. There's a lot of guys who could win it tonight. A lot of guys. That'll come up in the postgame show. Stick with us for that.
Oh.
Kickoff is fumbled. Ball's on the ground. It's still loose. I think the Racers might have got this.
Let's see. Everybody's
they're
dancing.
saying they did, and they did.
Yeah,
so
wow.
a muffed kickoff return, and Newcastle will take it over at the 25. And this is
wow.
This is why there's a running clock, because this is getting very out of hand now.
Well, I got to tell you, as a Newcastle fan, love the play. As somebody that's doing this and trying to be professional, doggone it. You almost feel bad for, it kind of stinks.
Like I said, this is a Woodward team that's off to a bit of a rough start. Lost to Guthrie 69-0 in the opener. Lost to Bethany last week 40-14. Did some decent things in that Broncos game. Kind of hung in for a little while, but tonight just hadn't been there. So Racers back on offense. Cade Longman still in at QB as the third quarter is winding down. Again, running clock while we're moving so quick. Longman fakes the handoff. He'll keep. He's stuck.
Yeah.
Good job by the Boomers sniffing that out. And that should, I do believe, end the third quarter unless Newcastle really gets up quick here. Yeah, looks like they will take it to the fourth. Newcastle well out in front, 55-7 Racers after 3. Take a timeout here. We'll be back for the fourth quarter next, right here on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
It's no secret that life is busy and you have a million things on your to-do list. Here at Community Bank of Oklahoma, we've made banking simple again. We can help you get to the important things in life, like the big game tonight.
We do all the heavy lifting, so you don't have to.
Race towards us at Community Bank of Oklahoma, because we wouldn't be a community without you.
All right, back to Boomer Stadium right on this play here, snapping right as we came back. It's a solid pickup for the Racers. Once again, into the Trinity Restoration red zone.
That was a strong run. He ran 8 yards. I bet he was 1, maybe 2 yards with nobody on him, and the rest of it he ran with people just hanging all over him.
So it'll be a third down and short for the Racers. Knocking on the door if you're just tuning in. All Newcastle tonight, 55-7. Josh Calloway, Billy Collier at Boomer Stadium in Woodward. Longman fakes the handoff. He'll keep it up the middle. Hot knife through butter. 17-yard touchdown for the third-string quarterback, Caden Longman. He becomes the 8th different Racer to score, and they've hit the 60 mark.
Man, that was a great run. I wasn't sure about his decision not to hand it off, but he just ran up there. There were 2 or 3 holes he could have run through with that line, and so that was pretty incredible.
Got a little glimpse there of what you were talking about with his athleticism and his speed. He didn't really, it's only 17 yards. He didn't get to really get it ramped up, but he just kind of moves in a way that's very, smooth and
very shifty.
Yes.
Not hard, uncomfortable cuts. It almost seemed like a smooth way around it. Like he knew he was going to do it long before he did it.
So the touchdown makes it 62-7, 11-10 to go. We'll stick here through this little change on ends. It gives me an opportunity to thank our fourth quarter sponsor, which is OEC, the Oklahoma Electric Cooperative, taking high-speed fiber where no one else will. No contracts, no fees, just a good connection, bringing you the power of high-speed fiber services to your door. Check them out at oecfiber.com.
Well, what would you say going into district? This is the way we've played the last 3 games. What do you think is the biggest thing that has stuck out to you with this Newcastle team going into district?
Oh, that's tough. I guess probably depth. There's a lot of guys on both sides that I feel like we say 20, 30 names each game so far this year that have had at least one or two big impactful plays. I mean, you're talking about Carson Bolzer and T.J. Bradford are two incredibly talented, good football players, and they're at the same position, and they both go down, and Trey Burgess steps right in and has a big game on the ground. You know what I mean? It's kind of crazy how many options. Tonight, Newcastle didn't have Bradford or Bolzer, and the two Lane brothers, who have been so good, haven't really done much of anything tonight, and they got 62 on the board. I mean, it kind of shows you the depth right now. They're not really leaning on any one or two guys, that's encouraging. And I mean, you're going to want Bradford back hopefully before too long. Hopefully Bolster's injury isn't too long-term. Hopefully he can get back this season. His kickoff goes out of bounds, but they seem to be as built and ready to sustain injuries like that in any year that we've been doing this.
Well, and one of the things that I really see that I haven't seen in years past that I really love seeing is their ability to trust each other, and they're communicating to each other. You see it on the sidelines. You see it out on the field. The fact that you're looking down there at numbers we don't normally look at on a football field on the Friday night, yet they know how each other are playing. They trust each other in their positions. They're not overplaying. They're not overcompensating. That really says a lot to me about the team as a whole, not just the starters on both sides. So this has been a really, really good thing to see.
So Woodward will go back to their second QB. We saw him a little bit earlier, but here's Cash Carter into the game. He has a handoff to Long. He'll run forward for a few. Racers will begin district play next week against the Tecumseh Savages at the Castle.
The Castle.
And that'll be next week, Gene Reed Field, and Gene Reed's going to be on the call for that. We'll talk about that a little more. We'll preview that game just a tad in the post-game show, so stick with us through the end of it. You've come this far, you might as well hang out to the end at this point. 62-7 Newcastle. Passing the flat here is dropped. All over him there, laying the boom right on contact was, Grady Downing.
Yeah, it's probably a good thing he dropped that, because that would have been a loss of about 2 yards right there.
We run under 10 minutes to go from Boomer Stadium. I want to thank Woodward for their hospitality this week. Helpful. Got us all set up in a nice booth here above the stadium. David Norton, the AD out here, very nice guy. Helped us get everything ready, so shout out to him. Pass near the sideline is incomplete as well. It'll be a 3-and-out for the Boomers, and they'll punt it away.
Well, and it looks like they trying some different things with some different players. Probably a little bit different feel to it. But even in that, if you'll notice, just the difference in next man up for Newcastle and next man up for other teams, you just see that depth that they've talked about all season. No disrespect. Please don't take that as disrespect. That's something you don't see very often at this level.
Scoreboard here in the stadium reads 61-7, by the way. I'm pretty certain it's 62. I think that last extra point from Batchelder went through. Punt is returned by Longman. He's got room. Caden Longman makes a man miss. He's going to go. Caden Longman. All right, I see what you mean about this kid, Billy.
Yes.
I see what you mean.
That was it. Man, I saw that hole up here, and I thought,
oh, my.
He's going to score. That was great. I didn't see him getting ready to make those two cuts that he made down here between the 20 and the 30 to make people meet. Man, what a great run back. He is going to be one of those special players. Just has a good head about him, knows where he's at on the field, and he just looks like he's having fun. That's one thing I appreciate about him as well.
So Caden Longman, I didn't get the exact measurement there, about 65 or 70 yards or so. I think he was somewhere between 30 and 35, if I remember correctly. Turns the punt back. Batchelder's extra point is up and through. And it's now 69-7.
Wow.
So Newcastle has matched what Guthrie put on the board against the Boomers a couple of weeks ago. And with 8:49 to go, it's 69-7 Newcastle.
And I want you to understand, this isn't a running up at the score.
No, I mean, you got
players out there. You know, somebody goes, how come they keep running for touchdowns? Well, because you don't coach a player to not score. You coach them to score. And that was one of those plays. Every kid that receives a punt wants to run it back for a touchdown, and that's one of those things that you see. And so they're playing a really good game with players that don't normally get to play, and that'd be a shame if you told them, okay, only play halfway.
Mm-hmm.
I think that'd be a big shame because these guys are going to get in. I don't know that they'll get in any other game this year as much as they're getting in tonight.
So it's 34-7 at half. So Newcastle's scored 5 touchdowns with 8:49 to play in the fourth quarter and a running clock. That's 5 really quick touchdowns. That's a lot of touchdowns in a short amount of time.
Yep. With the running clock.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, yeah. So Newcastle well on their way here tonight. We thank you so much for hanging out with us. However, you're tuned in. I'm sure a lot of the Racer faithful are still watching because they want to see how many more guys they can get in the end zone. Kickoff will go out of bounds again. Second time that's happened for the Racers here in the second half.
It's
and
almost
Woodward
like
will take over.
It's almost like they expect it to go out of bounds. I don't know that. I don't know that they're wanting them to run back or what, but that's the second one in a row, and the one right before that, you remember, it was out on the north end and just stayed in bounds.
So Woodward back on offense. Back at quarterback is number 7, Cash Carter. Carter, like we said, just a freshman, so he's a youngster, probably the future signal caller here in Woodward. He'll fire on the flat, pass high and incomplete. Intended for Cooper Latau. Woodward faithful, keeping the energy up. I love it. I love it.
That's one of those things you just love about high school football.
Yeah.
Just everybody's just love. I mean, those are your sons, your friends, family, and you just love Friday night football.
8 different Racers have scored touchdowns tonight. 3 guys with 2. Longman, Schumard, and Webb all have 2. 10 touchdowns in total tonight for the Racers. Only thing keeping them short of 70 is that one missed extra point that was kind of botched earlier, but they still got time to get there. 7:45 to go.
They're playing just really good. Very well, just very, very disciplined still. Even in these guys that don't get in very often, playing very disciplined.
Keeping Carson busy on the score bug tonight, racking it up. Pass in the middle, incomplete. Ooh. That was read pretty well. You saw that's Ryder Jones, number 19, was lurking, ready to make a play on that ball, but it goes incomplete, and Woodward will again punt it away.
Yeah,
the Boomers are just trying to get to the end.
Right. Well, and you saw some drool there on 19.
Yeah.
He wanted that ball, and I wonder if that kind of lingers to him thinking he could have had that.
So as we hit the 7-minute mark again, running clock, Woodward will punt it away, and Newcastle will take back over. See if Longman can do it again. That would be something. Oh, snap rolls in. He'll get rid of it. Ends up working out probably in Woodward's favor that he bobbled it because it gave him more time to get downfield. It goes out of bounds, and the Racers will start just past the 30-yard line. 6:44 to play.
Well, I'm enjoying looking at some of these other numbers. You know, you've heard these names at practices, knew these kids growing up, called them in JV and 7th and 8th grade football. So it's kind of nice seeing them get out here on the varsity level, getting some time, getting to play.
For sure. And a lot of fresh faces coming into this game for Newcastle. And we got another quarterback, 4th quarterback into the game for Newcastle. I'll have to get the number here.
Is that 18?
Looks like 18, which is Day Simmons.
Wow.
And he's a freshman for the Racers. So number 18, Day Simmons in the game, 5'8", 150 quarterback. So Racers are really able to work a lot of guys in tonight. So shout out to the Simmons family. I'm sure excited to see their youngster get into the ball game tonight.
Absolutely.
That's cool. Yeah, the scoreboard here still reads 68, but that one from Batchelder earlier I'm certain was good. Nice tough run here from Bradley. He'll run forward for a first down.
He's a tough runner.
Yeah, I would say some nice runs tonight from Colton Bradley.
Yes, excellent. He's showing a lot of oomph out there. He's not going down the first time he's touched. He's staying on his feet, picking up extra yards, and you see it right there. He picked up about 6-7 yards carrying people.
5:22 and counting left to go at Boomer Stadium. Racers taking their time, working that clock down, trying to get on out of here. Begin the journey back home. Simmons, handoff is put on the ground. He'll pick it up and be toppled down shy of the 45. Almost a turnover there for the Racers, but Simmons a good job getting on it.
Got back to it. That's one of those things. They'll work on that. Probably won't see that again too often. Looks like Caden's coming back in there.
Actually, it's another quarterback. This is the fifth quarterback in the game. This is Ashton Schumard. So a fifth quarterback. He's another freshman.
Oop.
Low snap. Handoff goes to Bradley. Makes some guys miss. I got to say, I don't know if I've ever seen a team work 5 QBs in one game. This might be a record. And I'm talking about any level. High school, college. Certainly not NFL. They don't even carry that many. But can you think of a time you've seen 5 quarterbacks in one game?
I don't
I don't know if NFL preseason even gets 5 quarterbacks in one game.
No, never. And it's incredible just seeing them be productive, you know?
Yeah. 3rd and 9. Ashton Schumard, your quarterback. He will fake the hand. No, he does give the handoff to Bradley. Bounce outside, across the 50, across the 45, lower the shoulder. That's going to be another first down. Late flag comes in on the tail end. We'll see what that call is for. Haven't had a lot of flags in the second half, at least.
No.
It's been kind of moving right along. We'll see what this one is.
Is it holding?
It looks like it is against the Racers. Wipes out that play. Spot foul, so not a big negative play, but it wipes out what was a first down run for Bradley. So it'll be 3rd down and call it about 8 or 9 or so.
Yeah.
8.
Long 8.
Racers taking their time, working that play clock down, keeping the clock moving. 3:35 to go. Again, stick with us after the game. Bill and I will give our Elcision Realty Player of the Game Award out. So far, TJ Bradford and the offensive line as a unit, the 2 winners. We'll see where we go tonight. A lot of candidates tonight. It's going to be a challenge, but we will do it. I think I have my pick, but we'll discuss.
I'm still working on mine. Still working on who I think, because it's hard to spread this much out. There's a lot of seasoning out there on the field to kind of pick one.
Timeout on the field with 3:20 to go. Not sure who took this.
Newcastle.
Newcastle did, okay. Racers use their first. As we look ahead to district play next week, the Racers and the Savages. It'll be a 7 o'clock kick. First 7 o'clock kick at home this year. Both the first 2 games were bumped back due to heat. Should be back on normal track, although it is going to warm back up next week, but I don't think to the level of moving games back like we've had early in the season. And you just know, Billy, after that blazing hot summer and that blazing hot start to the year, that we're going to have some freezing games down the line. That's how that works.
Yes, I have a feeling we're going to have a bipolar fall.
Oh, yeah.
It's gonna get
when
cold
we get to
fast.
November and we're in the home stretch and we're getting into the postseason, we're going to have some bone chillers.
Oh, yeah.
Back to it. Schumard still in at quarterback. Feels like 2020 saying that. Throws over. Pass is caught just
Good
past
blocking.
the 50. This is Corey Jones. Another flag coming in.
It's right in there. You saw 2 players kind of going at it. It could go either direction. They got enough for the first down, but let's see where this goes.
Clock is running all the way through this, so we're motoring through. And it's going to go against the Racers again. So a couple of penalties, knocking out good plays here in the late stages.
That makes sense. You know, an eligible receiver or ineligible players downfield. When he caught that ball out here on the 45-yard line, there were about 3 blockers that were ahead of him. And so that's a good call.
For those curious, they did update the board here at Boomer Stadium, so score is correct, 69-7. Batchelder 9 for 10 on extra points tonight. Did have the one mishap. Simmons back in at quarterback, which the great Gene Reed informed us goes by Deuce, which is that's pretty good. Deuce Simmons.
Yeah. I want to know why.
I don't need a reason.
I just want to ask him. what brought Deuce, you know?
Back to the original line of scrimmage. So it's about a 4th and 10 with 2 minutes to go. See if the Racers punt or just go ahead and go for it or how they want to play this. Obviously, I think everybody's just trying to get to the finish line right now.
They may be doing what they did earlier, just letting the play clock wind down and then calling a timeout.
Yeah, down to 5 seconds on said play clock. And they might just get the penalty. They might just accept the penalty. Maybe they did take a timeout. No, they did. You're right. Good call, Billy. So second charge timeout to the Racers with a $1:40 to go. Imagine Newcastle will go ahead and just punt this away. First time coming out here to Woodward. I'm leaving, I certainly impressed with the fan. I mean, there's a lot of fans came out here, and they're still here, by the way. It's basically the same amount. Kind of an old-fashioned looking stadium, like I was talking to athletic director David Norton, kind of saying it's an older stadium, which is kind of cool. Norton said that he's an older guy, and he actually is a Woodward alum. He graduated from here, and that the stadium was like brand new whenever he went here. So that's kind of cool that he's the AD here now. But I kind of like it though. It's a bit of a throwback look, a little bit decent press box up here. They set us up nice and good with a nice booth.
Well, I got to tell you, just went to a few places here in town, and it just has kind of that Friday Night Lights feel.
Yeah.
Where
now, this is a fan base,
here.
that you can tell if Coach Gordon can get this thing rocking, is going to be a place to be on Fridays. So hopefully that can happen. As Batchelder has had a really good night, this punt goes off the side of the foot out of bounds. So good field position coming up for Woodward near the 50 with 1:31 to go. And we'll see. Obviously, it's the first year for Coach Gordon. He's got a tall hill to climb. It's a team that won one game last year, but turnarounds can happen quickly. You look at, we talked about it earlier, but Chalmer Wyatt with Elgin was our OSN Coach of the Year last year. He took over an Elgin team that was not winning games in 4A. And they moved up to 5A, and everybody said, oh, that's not going to go well at all. And they went to the playoffs last year. I mean, it does, coaches, the right coach can turn it around quick. So see if that can happen out here for Woodward. Handoff not going anywhere. Does a good job to bounce outside actually and get something out of that. A couple yards.
Well, and I would say this, Coach Gordon, you can tell these players are still playing, still fighting. You can see him. He's still down there coaching. He's going up and down the field, talking to them, getting their attention. I think you're going to see some positive things here in the next year or two from this Woodward team.
Was another one, kind of like Guyman,
Yes.
It's one of these hard jobs. It's a hard play, because you got to go so far. You look at the teams they've played so far. Guthrie and Bethany, those are nowhere near here. I mean, it's hard to build up a program, especially in modern era where guys transfer in and leave and things like that, when you gotta play a schedule as tough as Woodward does.
Yes, and they're in a pretty tough district. I know that's your area of expertise, but they're in a tough district as well.
Yeah, 4A1. So, looks like they don't have to snap the game. It looks like they will. 3rd and 8 here, just 20 seconds left. Very likely the final play of the night. Carter back to pass. He'll throw in the flat. Goes incomplete. They'll keep the clock running. And that will do it.
Wow.
Teams will come out and shake hands, and that's all she wrote. All Newcastle tonight. Racers do what they do. Outside of a little push there before halftime from Woodward, they put together that nice drive. It was a complete dominant effort. And the Racers go into district play, a picture-perfect 3-0. Not a lot to complain about at all. Tonight, the Racers win it 69-7 over the Boomers. All right, we'll take one last timeout. We'll come back. Bill and I will give out our Elcision Realty Player of the Game Award. And we'll look ahead to next week with the Racers taking on Tecumseh to start district play. Don't go into our post-game show next right here on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
So that's Will, and that's Tim. And the farm has been in the family now how long, Tim?
100 years or so.
You stopped counting.
Yes.
The idea that 1.5% of this country is feeding 330 million people 3 times a day.
You shut down a lot of oil and gas, you shut down a lot of U.S. ag. All of a sudden, we start paying a lot more for food, and there's a lot more hungry people all over the world.
College is more than just going to class. College is a journey. It's meeting new people and making new friendships that will last a lifetime. It's learning from professors who care about you and your success. And finding out it can be really fun and rewarding. It's discovering that thing you want to do for the rest of your life. Cameron University is all about helping you grow and succeed. Because your success is our success.
All right, back at Boomer Stadium, Josh Calloway, Billy Collier, wrapping it up from Woodward. Newcastle wins at 69-7. Billy, obviously, we talked about this the last 2 quarters because the game was in hand, but dominant effort from Newcastle. They go 3-0 in non-district play, pretty much dominate their way. Again, Plainview made that push last week, but outside of that, Newcastle, you can't ask for much more than what they did in these 3 non-district games. And now you go into district play feeling good about things, 3-0.
Yeah, you feel real good, especially after tonight, and understand, this may not be the same as playing Tuttle and Blanchard, but to watch 3 and 4 lines of players come in and play solid, play well, to watch them play without some of their captains, without some of their big-time players. This was a real good win that you can't help but be positive moving into district play, seeing how they're doing, feeling good about how they're playing together.
Our Elcision Realty Player of the Game honor, we went back and forth. There was a lot of guys that you could have went with for this when 8 different guys scored touchdowns tonight. But we're going to go with Trey Burchett.
Yep.
Stepped in, obviously, TJ Bradford, Carson Bolzer, both out tonight with injury. We kind of were talking about in pregame. Who's going to be the guy to step in and kind of be that featured running back? Trey Burchett got the bulk of the carries in this game and was very, very good. Also had a 40-yard pick 6 on defense. No big deal. That was probably the play of the night, either that or that Schumar bomb from Shanuel. Big night for Burchett. Stepped right in when the team needed him. And obviously, when you have a pick 6, that's not going to hurt your cause either. So Trey Burchett, our Elcision Realty Player of the Game.
Yeah, and I agree with that completely. I said at the first of the game, this is a night where some of them younger guys can step in, make a statement, let the coaches know they're ready to get off the sidelines and get into the play. And I don't know that anybody did that quite as much as Burchett did on both sides of the ball. He was carrying defenders. He was making plays, making cuts, stiff-arming, strong runner. And then to have that run back on the pick 6, I think he was showing the coaches, I'm ready to play, coach, put me in. So that's one of the reasons I went with him player of the game. Again, you had Caden Longman. You had
Schumar had 2 touchdowns in this game. Yeah, there was a lot of guys. Heavy J had 2 touchdowns in this game. A lot of options. I think Burchett, he did enough tonight, and it's one game, and obviously Woodward was overwhelmed in this game, but there's enough there that, and we don't know how long Bolster's going to be out. I think we believe that Bradford will be back soon.
Yes.
But even when Bradford comes back, you got to think that Burch is still going to be right in the mix. He did a lot tonight to show that.
And if you think about it, you got defenses that are having to stop Bolster and having to stop Bradford in the first quarter, and then about halfway through the second quarter, they're having to stop Burchett and having to stop Reuben, and then in the third quarter you have to go back to stop Bradford and stop Bolser, and so you just got these running backs that are shown they can run and run strong and run hard, just coming in over and over, and they're just going to wear teams out.
Right. Good night for Burchett. Like we said, stepped in as a featured back, and then that pick 6 as well on the defensive side. Our Player of the Game honor brought to you by Elcision Realty. Boomer and Tiffany Elcision of the Tiffany team are your local realtors with Prime Realty. Go Racers. Elcision Realty, Player of the Game, Trey Burchett. So, with that, we look ahead, Billy, to district play. And this is where it starts to get really fun. We start to look at the standings, start to scoreboard watch, start to get the moving pieces, figure out what's going to happen whenever playoffs get a little closer. We start with Tecumseh next week. I unfortunately am not going to be on the call next week. It's going to pain me to be away, but Gene Reed will step in with you over at Racer Stadium at the Castle. Yep. Gene Reed going to be the first guy to ever call a game on a field named after him? He's got to be one of the first.
He would have to be.
He's got to be up there.
I think there needs to be some kind of, gold-painted chair for him up there to sit there. No, we're looking forward to next week. You'll have me and Gene carrying the game. Josh going to go see some bigger stuff, some things he's got to do next week.
Yeah,
and so we're going to try. We're going to try and carry it, Josh. I'll be honest.
Oh,
with
you guys do great. You guys done a great job with the coaches show. I got no doubt. It'll be a little different feel. Obviously, Gene has stepped in before. He did it last season with me as my color man, and obviously you're my color man normally. So it's kind of two colors, but that works sometimes. It's a little change of pace. I think people will be excited about it. I'm excited about it.
Well, and I think it will be exciting. We usually, when we talk, we get excited just talking about football.
Yeah.
So I hope that carries over into the live stream.
It's Newcastle Football Coaches Show edition, essentially, because, we're bringing the Coaches Show to the actual broadcast next week. So I'm excited for you guys. I'll be back in 2 weeks for Newcastle in Blanchard at Racer Stadium. Really excited about that game. That's going to tell us a lot about both those teams, and the Racers have looked great so far. We talked about how Weatherford was supposed to be this really high-level team, and Newcastle handled them. If they go do that to Blanchard as well, or just even beat Blanchard, get over that hump, get one of these Tri-City wins that's been elusive the last few years, that would be quite the statement. So I look forward to that in a couple of weeks. But, you and Gene will do a great job. And, of course, tune in Tuesday nights. I want to keep banging the drum on this, on the Coaches Show at Luigi's. Billy and Gene doing a phenomenal job. 6:30? 6:30 on Tuesdays. Again, if you can't get out there, which I recommend that's what you should do first, or tune in, you can always watch a show later at any time at your leisure and catch what Coach Brickman had to say, as along with players, other special guests. Billy and Gene are doing an awesome job with that. So keep up with that on Tuesday nights. But again, it's Tuesday nights. You should watch live if you can. But if you can't, it's on YouTube. It's not. There's other. You can watch it whenever. You can 3 in if you want. If that's what you're into, go for it with the Coaches Show. So
and
tune in for that.
There is excitement if you come to Luigi's. There's a lot of noise. There's a lot of things going on.
There's food.
There's a lot of food. And so really encourage you to do that. But like you said, watch us there on Roku. Watch us on Amazon Fire Stick.
Yes.
Watch us on Apple TV. What we want to do in the Coaches Show is some things that maybe some people don't see on Friday nights. We can talk to coaches, talk to players, bring that out, and just add a little bit to the game. So that's what our deal is there. So come see us in person. Watch us on the live stream. We'd love for you to be a part of it.
Oh, yeah. Luigi knows what they're doing. They've had it catered into the stadium a couple of games so far this year. I've indulged.
Yes.
It's been good. It's been good. So shout out. Get out there for the Coaches Show. All right, that's it. We got a long journey back home, so let's get out of here. Racers win it 69-7. They go 3-0 in non-district play. They'll be back home for a date with Tecumseh next Friday night to open up action in 4A2. For Uriah Martinez running the camera, Carson Wade on the production, my partner Billy Collier, I'm Josh Calloway signing off from Woodward, where Newcastle wins it 69-7 to move to 3-0 on the season. Good night, everybody. We'll see you next week back from the Castle.
Thanks for watching this presentation of the Oklahoma Sports Network.